Afternoon, I'm Nate Putterball with your sports update. Late last night, the World Cup saw Switzerland eliminate Algeria 2-0 to advance to the round of 16. World Cup action today sees 3 games on the docket. Australia squares off with Egypt at 2, Cape Verde and Argentina are at 6, and Ghana and Colombia face off in the nightcap. Last night was the start of a 4-game series between the AL Central leaders, the Guardians and the White Sox. The Guardians rallied from 3 down, and Brian Rocchio hit a 2-run homer to walk off the Sox 6-5. They closed the gap to percentage points as they head into Game 2 tonight at 7:10. Gavin Williams of the Guardians squares off with Anthony Kay. The Cincinnati Reds are looking for back-to-back wins. They beat up on the Brewers last night 7-2. They're back at it tonight at 7:10. Brady Singer takes the mound for the Reds, take on Trevor Rogers. Catch the action right here on The Fan. And the Columbus Clippers are at home tonight, starting a weekend series with Louisville. Breaking sports news weapons of The Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
It's a holiday, and while you're enjoying the time off, some of us still have to work. This is the Fan Sports Holiday. Here are your hosts. Insert names.
Well, my name is Tim May, and the guy standing across from me, Patrick Murphy. We're doing this show today, Patrick. What do you think about this? We're the only ones in the studio except for Nate Putterball. It's kind of an interesting time to be alive in the 97.1 HQ.
It is.
Worldwide HQ.
You know you are scraping the bottom of the barrel when it's us three hosting.
I don't know about that. Sometimes the best stuff's at the bottom of the barrel.
I was on Morning Juice this morning from my home.
Yeah.
And they brought up that we were doing this show, and I said, like, I guess everyone else besides those guys and us decided, we're going to take our holiday early. So
yeah,
this is what you got. I'm sorry or congratulations.
No, it's great. The Fan Sports Holiday, man. I mean, you can just wander over to Red, White, and Boom HQ after we're done here and sit there for another.
I could.
7 hours before the fireworks go off.
Yeah, and then you have to deal with Red, White, and Boom, but that's a whole nother topic.
By the way, are you going to Red, White, and Boom?
I will not.
Is there such a thing as going to it or going to where you can watch it?
You can definitely. No, there's a whole event down there.
I know.
Well, at least there was. I haven't been down there in years, but
man,
I believe they still do it.
It's got to feel like a frying pan down there, though, don't you think?
Yeah, especially with what it's been recently.
Yeah, but good luck to all the folks headed that way. Hope you're listening to us, and I hope you have a great time tonight. I mean, it was one of the banes of my existence the many years that we took the family downtown for Red, White, and Boom, because all I could ever think about was the traffic jam leaving downtown, and that I was driving, and everybody, wanted to be there for the Red, White, and Boom, but wanted to be home in 10 minutes
as soon as possible. Yes.
Yeah, and I finally got that off my agenda.
I'm very happy my way home is the opposite direction.
Yeah, there you go. Nate Putterball, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he's a producer. He figures it all out before he ever gets there. But we're going to have a good time today. We're going to have 3 hours of sports talk, and we're going to be talking to 3 of our friends. I've got my buddy Dillon Davis coming on from DellGazette.com.
Our buddy. I'd say our buddy.
Our buddy.
I know Dillon.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know where you stood with him.
I like Dillon.
Everybody's competitors on the Ohio State beat, but the bottom line is he's at Scioto Country Club watching the U.S. Senior Open, and give us, speaking of frying pans, guys 50 and over playing golf in the heat.
At least it's on grass and not walking around on concrete.
True that. Kind of like a World Cup, how they're miraculously playing on grass where otherwise artificial turf rules the day during football seasons. But it shows you can do it if you want to. But as I remind people, football tears up a field a lot more than soccer does. Agreed?
Yes, absolutely.
And by the way, you're my soccer expert. I know you know that. That's why in my phone, I think I've told people this before.
Yeah.
In my phone, when I look up your number, it says Patrick Crew.
Yes.
Because of the time I went out to cover the Crew, and I had no idea what was going on with the Crew. I did cover soccer a long time ago, the Columbus Magic.
I was recently on with...
Or lack of magic, actually. But
I was recently on here with Tito, and he talked about the first season, sitting in the press box with you, trying to figure out how to cover a soccer game. So.
Yeah, especially when it was, as I said, 0-0, but actually 0-0.
Yeah, exactly.
At the time. I mean, what are you going to write about? Oh, they got almost all the way down the field and then lost the ball. That's called play-by-play in soccer. But, dude, I want to tell you something. We'll talk about it later maybe a little bit, but I do have World Cup. I have caught World Cup fever.
Your boy, Erling Haaland.
Yeah, absolutely. My 4-year-old grandson, Charlie's favorite player, and I don't mean just this year, he got his jersey last year. That's how soccer has permeated my personal life, is that one of my grandsons was a Holland fan before a lot of people were Holland fans.
And to be clear, that's the player, not the country.
That's Haaland. I think I spelled that correctly.
Not the Dutch.
Yeah.
But the Norwegian.
Dude, we'll talk about it maybe in a minute, or we might not get back to it. I just like the way that guy plays, man. He just plays large. Agreed?
Yeah, he's fantastic. I hate to say that because he plays for a team that I don't like, but he's awesome. His dad played in the English Premier League and at some other high levels. And so it was no surprise that he made it. It is a surprise what he's become. He's the best pure goal scorer in the world right now.
Absolutely. He scares you when he's coming at you, too.
He looks like Shrek. He's just a monster.
He has a presence about him. You know, we're going to talk at 1:30 to one of my good friends, Bruce Martin, who's been covering Indy Car for longer than I have, and he's up in Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. But promo in that sense is he is a graduate, now a proud graduate of Indiana University, which discovered football 2 seasons ago and is now the reigning national champion in major college football, while the pulse of his basketball program, that used to be the heart and soul of Indiana, has drifted off into almost, I don't know, can you even feel a pulse there anymore, Patrick?
I've said to people before who are, big Ohio State basketball fans, I'm like, just look at Indiana basketball. Like, Indiana basketball has become Ohio State basketball, and Ohio State basketball at least has had some up and downs. Like, when was the last time Indiana was really good? And that's a arguably a blue blood program, right? So,
yes.
It's been very interesting to see, and I think NIL is a huge part of it. Like, they've invested a lot into getting that football program.
You still had to get those guys to come to Indiana.
Absolutely.
And let's face it. I mean, 2 years ago, that was not a superstar-laden team that they picked up from the portal. Even last year, Fernando Mendoza, left Cal. Before he went to Cal, nobody wanted him except Cal. I mean, that's not, there's two things going on there. Same with Ohio State. You're not just picking guys up from the portal. You're picking guys up that, for the most part, help you. And Kurt Cignetti, he's got it going on. I mean, pretty amazing. And I don't see much of a drop-off this year. Do you?
No. I think it'll be an interesting case study in, can a team, A, follow this blueprint, but then B, can you follow it up? We saw last year with Ohio State just how difficult it is to repeat as a national champion. But for Indiana, can you maintain this? Can this become the standard? Not necessarily winning a national championship, but just these last 2 years, can you become a powerhouse in the Big Ten and a powerhouse in college football? Or is this going to be sort of a flash in the pan and then they go to like a 8-4 type of team and every once in a while have that pop year? Yeah. So we'll see.
I think you're counting on, maybe if that happens, Kurt Cignetti not being there anymore, because I couldn't see him stomaching that. Number one. Number two.
I mean, if you're Indiana and you're an 8-4 team going forward, I think you're still taking that based on what they were beforehand.
No, dude, fans get spoiled extremely fast in this modern world. And I keep reminding people, Indiana's lost 2 games in the last 2 seasons, and that was to the 2 teams that played for the national championship in 2024, the 2024 season. I think they got it going on. So we'll see. And I think he feels really good, Cignetti does, about their portal and their recruiting situation, especially if they get that wide receiver from Lawrence. Is it Lawrence Central?
Yes.
Big-time 5-star receiver.
Yeah.
They're competing with Ohio State and a few others for that young man. And Ohio State's had some pretty good success recruiting Indiana. Caden Curry comes to mind. Terry McLaurin comes to mind right on down the line. But now you've got competition in state, not just Notre Dame. By the way, I don't think Notre Dame really claims to be from Indiana, but that's a.
They don't have a conference. They don't have a state. They're just Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's a discussion for another day. And by the way, at 2:30, speaking of recruiting, we're going to have Andrew Gillis from Cleveland.com to come on to talk about Ohio State's surge. I don't know if surge is the right word. It's more like kind of planned run the last week and a half of getting some big-time recruits to the football program. I think they've got 18 now for 2027. If they can hang on to them, that's the big challenge now, and a couple other guys that maybe could come on board. But Ryan Day, Mark Pantoni and company are getting it done, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And this does tend to happen, especially this time of year, sort of end of spring, beginning of the summer, into the summer, where there's spurts, right?
Yes.
Like, I can think of several times where it's been like, oh, they landed 4 guys in a week, or sometimes 2 guys on a day, and I don't know why. I don't think these kids plan it that way. I just think you go to those camps during the June period, the visits and whatnot, and you go home and you're kind of considering things. Not all those guys were on campus necessarily recently, but it's been a good run. They've had various positions commit. They've had various classes. They got 2029 wide receiver, who everyone is very excited about. It's been a good little cycle here.
I think those things are kind of orchestrated to a certain extent, though.
It might be, yeah.
Don't have two guys both commit at exactly the same time on the same day. Kind of like the NFL, parcel out the news as the summer goes on.
My least favorite recruiting thing is when a kid commits during a game.
Yes.
I'm like, are you unaware that this is happening right now? Like, no offense to the kid, maybe they just got a lot going on, but it's like, when we're trying to cover a game and that's like, wait, a kid's committing at what time? So we have to do this. Like, this could be in the middle of a big play. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the kid gets to do what the kid gets to do. It's their life.
More people at that moment are watching the play more than they are watching the recruiting wire while they're sitting at home. But anyway, it is what it is at this point, where a news happens every 5 seconds. A situation like Ross Bjork said when he was talking to us a week and a half ago, he checked his watch, 20, 30 minutes from now, everything could change. I mean,
so true.
We're in such a crazy time. Speaking of change, man, like I said, I've got World Cup fever. You were able to go get treatment for your World Cup fever on a little trip. We're going to talk about that and get your views on the World Cup when we get back here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Fan Sports Holiday Edition.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Scotty Vegas here, and my new Bronco from Krieger Ford might go down as one of my best purchases of all time. I love it. The family loves it. I decided to get my wife's car some much-needed service. Krieger Ford conveniently picked up her car. I was prepared to spend a ton on repairs. Nope. They walked me through the problems, and it was fixed and brought back to our driveway in a day. Plus, saved me some money for some summertime parlays. The Krieger Ford experience is awesome. See for yourself at KriegerFord.com.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
As we celebrate Independence Day and America's 250th birthday, we remember our history, both the good and the bad, so we can build a better tomorrow for all of us. Our students must receive a full and honest education so they can grow as critical thinkers. Let's celebrate America's freedom by protecting their freedom to learn.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
How's Tommy doing now?
Much better.
You said it was asthma?
Yeah, he started with this cough and then he was wheezing.
That's terrifying.
Doctor said hidden triggers can make it worse. Things like dust, mold, and even pests.
Pests?
Yeah, droppings and allergens from cockroaches and rodents can seriously impact children with asthma or allergies.
I had no idea.
We're making sure our home stays pest-free.
Don't let pests put your family's health at risk. Visit pestworld.org to learn more. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Whether you're repping the orange and brown or shouting "Hoo Day," the ultimate football pilgrimage is closer than you think. Ditch the living room, get the family on the road, and make the short drive to greatness and visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. From the backyard to the gridiron, it's the one place where every fan comes together to create new family memories. Make it a weekend to remember and see why Ohio truly is the heart of football. Visit profootballhof.com and plan your visit today. Hey, it's Anthony here for the Good Feet store. Years ago, I told you about how my feet ached, just general fatigue. But man, I've been feeling good with my personally fit arch supports. There's no doubt they've helped me. They've stabilized my feet. I always feel supported and my body feels aligned. They're firm but flexible, and I can pop them into any pair of shoes. In fact, I'm still wearing my original arch supports. I work out with them in my shoes, ride the bike, and play golf. My arch supports from the Good Feet store changed the game for me. And the fitting I got was personalized, and it will be for you. It's really thorough. They measured my feet and arch size, and I knew right away after taking the test walk around the store, I felt the difference. Book your free personalized fitting today, and once you've been fitted and you found the supports that work best for you, you'll be able to wear your new arch support inserts home. They're made in the USA and engineered to last. It's simple. Just stop by the Good Feet store in Grove City or on Polaris Parkway in Westerville. No appointment necessary, but you can always schedule online. Get started at goodfeet.com.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Join our degenerate gambler Steve Biddle at Scotty Vegas every Sunday morning at 9 for On the Money.
Presented by Krieger Ford. Your best bet for a new car or truck. Visit Krieger Ford on Morse Road today or go online at KriegerFord.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz. Today's weather a lot like yesterday, mostly sunny, hot and humid, mid-90s for a high with a heat index near 105. An isolated storm is possible late. Watching for another chance of storms overnight. And then for tomorrow, scattered showers and storms mostly in the afternoon and evening, highs in the lower 90s. For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
This is The Fan. It's also a holiday. Why don't we call it Fan Sports Holiday?
I like it. I like it. Patrick Murphy joining me, Tim May. We're talking to you on Fan Sports Holiday. I want to talk about... Patrick, I don't know if it was a vacay that you just came off of from a World Cup standpoint, but you went on a Iliad and the Odyssey in terms of going cross-country to see World Cup soccer in person. We're going to get to that. By the way, you have some breaking news when it comes to the Ohio State women's basketball team picking up a big-time recruit. Is that true?
Yeah, one of our national college basketball writers just sent me this right before it happened. Sydney Mobley, I believe no relation to John Mobley, committed to Ohio State. 4-star forward in the 2027 class. She committed to the Buckeyes over Virginia Tech and Illinois. She said, I was born and raised a Buckeye. I chose Ohio State because of the connections I had with the team and the coaching staff. They see me as a physical player who will bring some physicality around the rim. The women's Buckeyes adding a recruit on a day when very few people are working based on the activity here at the Fan.
But, it's not the holiday yet. Tomorrow's the holiday, yet I think today is the holiday because people get
Columbus.
People get Friday off, right?
Yeah, I don't understand
except those
getting
poor
days
guys
off.
sticking the fuses in the fireworks.
Yeah, I have friends all the time that are like, oh, it's Memorial Day or Labor Day, and they're like, oh yeah, we get whatever day off, and I was like, oh right, I forgot that people get that off because we just work every day.
I've said this before. I actually took it as almost a badge of honor that I worked holidays. I don't know why.
Sure.
It's kind of like being an airline pilot who flies on Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff. And I just feel like I was doing a service, probably a disservice to myself and to others. But I always enjoyed almost being able to brag. Yeah, I work holidays like an idiot, Didn't even take all my vacation back in the day when I was working at the Dispatch. But
speaking of, this is a good segue to what you were just talking about. This World Cup trip was the first time I've ever taken PTO when I was traveling domestically. I've done it when we've gone over to Europe and stuff, just because time difference wise, you can't. But usually I take my laptop. I won't work as much, but this time I took the PTO. I was like, I'm going to watch the World Cup. We're going to go to some games. We're going to enjoy it. So
I'm going to get to that. I want you to review with people what you went through, so to speak. But and by the way, remind people we're going to have a live, sort of a live segment with Dillon Davis coming up at 12:30. He was at the U.S. Senior Open at the Scioto Country Club, and see what's going on out there. Like I call it, it's either the frying pan or the griddle, depending on your preference. But the bottom line is, wow, is it hot outside? And we'll see how the 50 and over crowd is handling it, walking a fairly demanding walk, not over the top, but fairly demanding walk that is Scioto Country Club. Speaking of your journeys, so number one, give people just a review where you went and who you saw, and then let's talk about some of the logistics involved.
Yes, so we flew out to Seattle. We flew out on a Thursday evening, got there at like 10 o'clock Seattle time. Game was the next day, USA, Australia at noon local times. And we did kind of World Cup stuff all day. Left that next morning, came back. We're back in Columbus for one day. Then we left for Kansas City, but we made a pit stop in St. Louis to see some family. We're in St. Louis for a couple days. We're in Kansas City for 5 days. Saw the Dutch, not your boy Erling Haaland, play Tunisia, and then 2 days later saw the Algerian team play Austria in what was supposed to be kind of a dead rubber type of game, but might have been the game of at least the early part of the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. So you flew to Seattle and back and then drove St. Louis on to Kansas City.
Yes.
Do I have that
yes.
right?
Yeah. Pit stop in St. Louis.
Here's my question. When did you know you had USA Australia tickets?
So the way they did this back, I want to say it was November, they did they did a bunch of lotteries. You entered and a lot of them were connected with, like, the one I got in was a Visa. It was like this pre-sale lottery. So as long as you had a Visa card, you could enter this. And I entered that. A handful of my friends also did. Fortunate, got in, and that was the first ticket. So the way it worked, it was through Ticketmaster. So if anyone's ever bought on Ticketmaster, you know how this process all works.
Mm-hmm.
But they hadn't done the draws yet for the teams. So you didn't know most of the games. What you could do is pick, I want to watch this country. And the U.S., you already knew they were going to play L.A., Seattle, L.A. in their 3 group games. So we picked Seattle. We had a friend we could stay with out there. And then we had another friend in Kansas City that 2 of our friends were already planning on going to. So we just picked 2 games in Kansas City. We had no idea who we were going to see. So we knew U.S. and somebody, and then 2 other random games. And it actually worked out pretty well, getting to see the Netherlands play, obviously a big soccer country. And then,
it was until the other night.
Sure. But they still,
no.
they still showed up. But yeah, so it was an interesting process.
The dike failed. The other night. Go ahead now.
It was just an interesting process. Like, hey, I'm going to pay, it was $200 and some bucks. It wasn't anything crazy for these other games, but you're still paying $200 a ticket for a game where you don't know who's playing.
Yeah, but it's still a World Cup game. That's what I wanted to ask you. Obviously, the USA Australia, is that right?
Yes.
The atmosphere was off the chart, I would think.
Yeah, it was. I said this the other day on one of the shows. It was weird because the supporters group, so essentially they're like Block O.
Yeah.
Usually you put those guys right behind the goal, just like you put them in the end zone at Ohio State football games. But they had them up in a corner of
kind of like going to a Penn State game where they put all the the visiting teams.
Yes, exactly.
Parents.
It was like, you were up in a corner. So that group. And we were kind of in the end zone. That group was loud the whole game, but it didn't really catch on a ton because it wasn't lower down. So the atmosphere wasn't crazy. It was still very good, especially, they win 2-0. It was a comfortable win. So the fans got behind it. But, yeah, I think it would have been better had they sort of relocated the diehards with the drums and everything like that.
The dog pound. If the dog pound was there instead of in a suburb.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I see what you're saying. What's interesting is a lot of these World Cup fans look like they're going to the Price is Right or whatever it was where you dress up in costume hoping you're going to get called.
Yeah.
What costume did you wear?
I just wore a jersey. I bought my now wife. She did not have any U.S. jerseys. I have several going back years. And so for her birthday, because we just got married, so we said my birthday's coming up. We were like, we're not going to do big birthdays this year. So I got her 2 U.S. jerseys, 2 of the new ones that they have for the World Cup, one of each, the red and white one, and then the blue one.
You like that red and white one?
I like it.
The one with
they're both fine.
Stripes, kind of like a Bengals looking.
Yeah, it's
kind of thing.
It's sort of a play on a jersey they had a few World Cups ago where the stripes were straight and now they're like wavy, like the flag.
Yeah.
So I got her.
They look like Where's Waldo?
Correct. And now they're Where's Waldo if you have too many drinks.
Yeah, if you've done mushrooms. Go ahead.
There you go. So I got her both of those, and I was like, whichever one you want to wear when we go to the game, you wear that, I'll wear the other one.
Yeah.
So we looked fairly normal compared to other people.
What did you wear to the game in Kansas City?
Yeah, for the Netherlands game, I'm going to shout out. I have some friends who've started a clothing company here called Supporters Supply. They do a lot of crew stuff, but they do some other stuff. And our friend Kevin, who is one of the owners of it, made us some Dutch T-shirts.
Wow. So
they were orange with some Dutch expressions on it and things like that. So we wore that to the first game. And then the second game, I think I just wore another soccer jersey because I didn't have a dog in the fight.
Gotcha. By the way, shout out. I ate at Der Dutchman last night up in
okay. There you
go. Just outside Lexington, Ohio, up there off I-71 with a buddy of mine. We had a good time because I went up there and did a couple of interviews that you're going to hear later with Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenquist. Big news, both of those guys leaving their respective teams. They've had big-time results with their respective teams, but they're moving on. We'll get into that. But, I wanted to ask one more thing about the World Cup thing. So you knew where you were going for the first round or the first game you went to, the USA-Australia game, long enough to get a decent airline ticket. Am I right about that?
Yeah, so because we knew in November, the price to Seattle. Actually, I flew basically the same flights I flew when we went out there for the Washington game.
Yeah.
Is that one of the ones you arrived like right on time?
No, I arrived at midnight.
Oh, okay.
And I got to my rental car place. I'm not going to say the name of it, but it rhymes with fudge it. And no offense to them, but they should have seen they had all these reservations for that time of night. And I think it was a line of over 100 people waiting. I think they ended up with 2 people finally working it. So I got to my hotel at like 2 a.m, Seattle time.
Right.
Seattle time, not Columbus time. So it was 5 in the morning, my time. And of course I woke up at like 8 my time or something like that. Yeah. But the bottom line is I always like going to Seattle. Could not live there. I don't think. It's too far away from everything.
I agree. And I've talked to people, our friends that we stayed with are from like the Cleveland area. They were talking about like, we never get home enough. And I've talked to some guys that cover Oregon that have some Midwest ties, and it's the same thing.
Yes.
Like you're in your own little world out there.
Yes.
Some people love it. Obviously, there are perks of living in the Pacific Northwest, but yeah, I agree. It is too far from a lot of things.
Yeah, I really like Eugene. I liked, we stayed, me and my buddy Jeff Snook, he was out there with me. We stayed in Corvallis because it was a lot cheaper.
Right.
One, it was only 25, 30 minutes up the road. And then we went to Bend, Oregon on that trip, and also got to see the Crater Lake, which I've wanted to see since I was in 4th grade, and I saw a picture of it. Finally, at 72, I got to see it. But that was pretty cool. But yes, nothing like being somewhere kind of excited. That's why I asked Ryan Day when they got off the bus last year in Seattle, does this really feel like you're going to a Big Ten game, right?
No is the real.
Ohio State has played out there several times. I think that's the 4th time I've covered an Ohio State game out there. But, everything's all weird now about college football in all kinds of ways. But
yes, absolutely.
I'll tell you what's not weird, man, is guys hitting a golf ball. You're not a golfer, but I call myself a golfer only because I have the equipment and the balls and go out there and hit them. And sometimes I play like a real golfer. Dillon Davis is a much better golfer. He's at Scioto Country Club these several days covering the U.S. Senior Open. We're going to get his take on things, how things are going at the griddle or the frying pan when we return here on Fan Sports Holiday.
No! USA is up 2-0. That is the most dangerous lead in soccer.
Relax, Mike.
See that, Dan? My left eye is twitching. That's my warning eye. It'll be 2-2 by stoppage time. It's never wrong.
With early payout from Bet365, I got paid the second they went up 2 goals. So to me, it's now the safest lead.
Early payout from Bet365, huh? Now my right eye thigh is twitching, Dan.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on the select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
There's only one Ozempic. Hello, I'm Ozempic. Because this ad is 30 seconds, I can't get into everything I'm FDA approved to do, so I'm just going to play my jingle again. But first, ask your doctor about which FDA approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA approved Ozempic. Now here's that jingle again.
There's only one Ozempic. The big one returns to Ohio. It's the Good Guys 28-Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. See over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and classic trucks on display. And don't miss Good Guys Autocross racing action, a tire-smoking burnout competition, a pro street takeover, an earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest. Meet the top builders and so much more. Happening July 10th through the 12th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan Ohio sports destination. It's a holiday. Most people took the day off. These guys didn't get the email. Welcome to Fan Sports Holiday.
I'm not even sure we're on the email list. I'm Tim May. That's
what
Patrick.
Emails? What are we talking about?
Exactly. That's Patrick Murphy standing next to me. Mr. Puderbaugh, Nate Puderbaugh. I was going to call you Stu Puderbaugh because I think that sounds cooler. But Nate Puderbaugh, our fantabulous producer, running the show today. And we're going to go out on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Fan Sports Hotline right now to bring in Dillon Davis, a guy I was talking to just earlier this morning. But Dillon Davis is out walking the fairways. You think we're crazy, Patrick. This guy's out walking the fairways at Soda Country Club right now, watching the U.S. Senior Open, brought to you by the USGA. Dillon Davis, welcome to Fan Sports Holiday, my friend.
Thanks, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to join you. It is sweltering out here, but happy to take a little break here.
Happy to take a little break.
Are you staying cool somehow? Did you bring like a fan? Is there shade? Paint the picture for us.
Well, I tell you, there's not a lot of shade out here since they did the course over and took all the trees out. There's not a lot of shade out here, so I take about an hour out here on the course, and I head back to the media center and recharge, and then cool down, and then go back out and suffer some more.
Do you towel off? Is that part of it too? You cool down, towel off?
Basically, yeah. I mean, as much as you can, but by the time you finally cool off, I try to head back out there, just trying to maximize my time out here.
Yeah, it's funny. The last time they were here was at 2016. I just remember those guys. I think Joey Sindelar led it at one point, but former Buckeye. But just how sweating they were doing. I think that might have been in late July or early August. I seem to think Ohio State preseason camp had already started, but that's tough on guys over 50 years old. It's even tough on you, isn't it, Dillon?
Anybody.
Yeah,
it's tough on anybody to play in these conditions, and certainly the idea that you're going to try to do it over the stretch of four days and try to compete and everything else that's going on with it on a very tough golf course as well. Yeah, it's just certainly mental fortitude at a premium today.
But my heart always goes out to the caddies. You know what I mean? Let's face it. The guy takes a golf club, hits the ball, reaches the caddy, hands him his water bottle, he drinks his water, and he walks down the fairway and hits it again. That's the way it is. Hey, I told you to do your homework before you came on the air. I don't know if there's a scoreboard handy there where you are at the moment. Who's leading this thing?
There is not one near me, but I will say just from what I had last seen, right now, obviously your two leaders from yesterday, Charlie Wee and Stuart Sink. Charlie Wee doesn't tee off until, I believe, 1:43, so he's not out on the course yet. Stuart Sink has been going the wrong way. He had that great close yesterday. I think he birdied 3 of the last 5 yesterday, and he has since dropped 3 shots today, and he's back to even par, I believe. So your leaders right now, I think Chris Devlin's up there at 3 under. Stephen Ames was at 3 under last time I had looked. Trying to think who else there. Tommy Gainey had just gotten to 3 under. He birdied 4 to get to 3 under. He started on the back 9. So there's about 3 or 4 that are at 3 under right now. That seems to be the mark. I believe the last time I saw the projected cut is even right now.
Wow. What do you think? What do you think about this field, Dillon? In terms of names, in terms of attraction, what kind of crowd are you seeing out there also?
The crowd's been fantastic, and it's something we talked about this morning a little bit, and I was wondering, yesterday I was pleasantly surprised by what it was for being, Thursday, and as hot as it was, it's even hotter today. But it being Friday, a holiday weekend, I think a lot of people are off work as it is. Very, very pleased with the crowd out here, and it's interesting. I think next week they go up to Akron, Firestone. It's the last event they'll have up there at Firestone, and somebody asked Padraig Harrington about that on Tuesday and his media availability about, just not going back to Firestone. And he talked about the crowds that they just don't get up there anymore, which is a shame because it's a great golf course. And I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised, if not just very pleased with the crowds they're drawing for this U.S. Senior Open, because it's a good crowd here today, and certainly going to be even better over the weekend, with the holiday.
Yeah, they go from the Firecracker to the Firestone. So that's kind of a little bit of symmetry there, in my opinion. What do you think about the golf course? You've gotten to eyeball. You got to play Iota earlier this year in advance of this thing that you're covering. What's just your take on the? Well, you never played Iota before, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe you did, but just on the changes that were made, kind of leading not just toward this tournament, but also Iota into the future.
Yeah, I never got a chance to see Iota what it was before they redid it. So with all the trees taken out, I didn't know what it was before then. Certainly my opportunity to play it earlier this year and seeing it this week. The greens are certainly the story. I don't think there's a lot overly challenging about this golf course to these levels of golfers. If they're long at all and just hitting fairways, I don't think there's a lot of challenges there. I mentioned to you, Padraig Harrington was complaining that there was only 2 holes that he would be able to hit driver on this week potentially, and so certainly the greens are the story, and there's just so many different stories on those greens about what could go wrong and where you can afford to miss out, the areas you have to be able to hit, and so certainly that's going to be the story all week, is how people are able to get up and down there. But otherwise, it's again, you have your U.S. Open style rough, and that's always a storyline, of course. But I don't think that the golf course is overly challenging these guys. Otherwise, I think it's playing at like just under 7,200 yards this week. Which is still pretty long for these guys. I don't get me wrong. 7,200 yards for guys that are 50 plus into their 60s. That's a good test for sure. But I don't think that distance wise they're going to be too pressed about that. It's ultimately going to be how they putt.
Dillon, to take you off the golf course for a minute, I'm curious. I know you were at the Ross Bjork press conference a week or so ago. Yeah. Did you have a major takeaway or two from his comments, or anything that stood out in particular?
Yeah, I think without a doubt, the thing that stood out the most to me was the Woody Hayes Athletic Center renovations and upgrades, because I think that's just long overdue. And I think, people get a lot of, hyper-focused on the stadium because, of course, it's the Horseshoe, and that's where people ultimately spend their time. They don't get to see the Woody and maybe don't really quite realize how important that is to the program. But I think it's long overdue, and I really appreciated Ross's approach of saying all these planning meetings and the talks that they've had about doing it. Now it's just time to go do it. And I'm glad to see that Ohio State's investing and finally been able to do that. It sounds like they have the money in place to do that. And so I think that's going to be great for the program. Obviously, as you heard, they talked about just not even having enough meeting spaces. It's not even about all the bells and whistles and upgrades in that sense. They just need to have adequate meeting spaces and things like that. And then, of course, the bells and whistles will also always be a part of that. And those things matter. There's still a very big deal to the program, certainly, and then on the recruiting front and those things. Obviously money is a big factor within NIL these days in recruiting battles. But if money's the same, and you start looking at the things that are ultimately going to swing a recruiting battle, facilities are still one of those things. And so, I was really happy to hear that the Ohio State's finally investing, that they're going to get that project started and get that going. It sounds like it's going to be a nightmare logistically to do those things, and what happens with the program in the meantime, but where they all go. But ultimately, you're always going to have those things. So yeah, happy to hear that they're finally getting those things done. Yeah, and the interesting thing also was there's no plans right now, and in the foreseeable future, of selling naming rights to Ohio Stadium. But there are obviously, the field has its own name right now. Has been brought to you by, so to speak. But I heard some debates even this week about Ohio Stadium, and is it worth it
to keep remodeling, renewing it. They've been doing that for as long as I've been covering Ohio State football. And you remember the big change in 1999-2000 when they not just refurbished it. I mean, they dropped the field, got rid of the track, raised the sides of the stadium.
Made it so you can't play soccer there.
Yeah, made it so you couldn't play soccer there, although a bulldozer might take care of some of that and properly placed dynamite. But I digress. The bottom line is there have been major work done to Ohio Stadium, but as Ross says, it sounds like they're committed to the Ohio Stadium in the foreseeable future. I think that's a good thing. What's your take on that? Because it is still college football. You still want, that feel that somebody played here before, if you follow my drift.
Yeah, no, I mean, as somebody who's obviously a very big Red Sox fan and have seen what they did with Fenway. There was a point in time in the early 2000s when ownership was changing hands and people in Boston weren't sure what was going to happen to Fenway. And the idea of Fenway going away for a new ballpark was just a travesty. And that a new ownership group came in and invested heavily in Fenway and tried to modernize it the best they can for, a ballpark that was built in 1912 and really invested in the areas around it and made it to what, is still very much I'm biased, but I think a lot of people would agree this is the most iconic ballpark in baseball still, over 100 years later. And so, no part of me would even entertain the idea that the Horseshoe needs to go away, that they would be better served just to build a new stadium. I'm just not buying into that at all. At the end of the day, people will be willing to sacrifice in some areas of their game day experience for the idea that they're still going to Ohio Stadium in the Horseshoe. They have to update the restrooms. I know that's a big thing that, everybody who, attends games there are going to say that they have to do something with that restroom situation, but that's very much doable. They can invest money to do that. Otherwise, there's no reason I don't think to go away from it. And I just wouldn't entertain the idea. As far as naming rights go, I'm glad to hear that they're not, doing that anytime soon, but I just feel like maybe it's ultimately going to happen. It's inevitable. Maybe I'm a cynic in that sense, but I just think that ultimately it's going to happen one day because there's just too much money to be made from it. I hope it's a long time from now, but I think it's coming.
Hey, Dylan, real quick, you mentioned Boston. Jaylen Brown, thoughts?
Man, how much time do you have? How much time do I have?
Not a ton.
I guess long story short, this seemed like it was inevitable. The minute they put him out there for the potential Giannis trades, it seemed like this was inevitable. There's mixed reports. There's so many details that still are yet to come out, and will eventually, depending on who leaks them and when. But it sounded like that was a fractured relationship. That Jaylen Brown maintains that he never asked out, but I find it hard to believe that, to just knowing how Jaylen Brown is, that he wasn't very, very, didn't feel very slighted by him being dangled out there again, because he's been dangled out in the past. So, ultimately that felt inevitable. I want to trust Brad Stevens, and I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt, but it's hard to process that being the return for a player of Jaylen Brown's caliber, regardless of how the league may have felt about him, which sounds like maybe his value wasn't as high as we as Celtics fans and the Celtics in general thought. But just very disappointing. It's just still trying to process that. But with that being said, there's still some moves to be made for the Celtics. Their offseason is not done, so anybody that thinks that the Celtics won't be a top 4 or 5 team in the East come November, going into next spring, you're kidding yourself.
All right. I'm not surprised that Dillon Davis is a fan of all things Beantown. Are you?
No, Patrick? I know. We know this about Dillon.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Dillon, thanks for joining us, my man, here on Fan Sports Holiday.
Appreciate you guys. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, we're going to come back in just a minute. We're going to talk about the best fireworks show we've ever seen, personally, live, when we come back here on the Fan Sports Holiday.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Want to protect our planet? The air we breathe, water we drink, and land we share. Real progress begins with birds. Yes, birds. The very ones we see and hear every day. On a walk, in the park, or simply out the window. That's because birds are more than birds. They're symbols, sentinels that reveal the health of our planet and our people. And by helping them thrive, all of us thrive as well. Audubon is a place where birds matter, where habitats are protected, where communities are engaged, and where change takes flight. Because at Audubon, hope begins with birds. Progress begins with birds. It all begins with birds. Audubon.
Common Man and Timmy. Voted America's dumbest show by Marconi voters. Common Man is a Columbus radio legend. And by legend, I mean it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And Timmy is, well, Timmy will complain about anything and everything. And he kind of looks like a woman. Giggity, giggity, giggity. So there's that. Common Man and Timmy.
Sponsored by Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, laundry, diapers, work, groceries. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone. Sit tight, hon, I'll be right back. But temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you. And every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Financial literacy starts young. Ohio Credit Union offers Greenlight, the popular money app and debit card for kids at no cost with your personal checking account. Help them earn, save, and learn. Visit telhio.org/greenlight.
Telhio is open to anyone in Central and Southwest Ohio, federally insured by NCUA.
I take care of the kids, my dad, things at work, but I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression. Go to mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Bishop and Friends.
He's terrified of the water. Apparently, he snorkeled for the first time.
An Italian guy snorkeling like that is not a good scene. I hope he had some sort of a vest on.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Cellar.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
It's a holiday. While you're sleeping in, grilling out, and enjoying the day off, we're talking sports. This is Fan Sports Holiday.
Welcome back to Fan Sports Holiday. I'm Tim May. Across from me is Patrick Murphy. Patrick, by the way, before we get into the hottest fireworks show, the coolest fireworks shows we ever saw, how many people do you think today are going to grill out on their sidewalk?
You probably could.
Just for the fun of it, just to say you did it.
Yeah, why not? I guess it depends how clean your sidewalks are.
Well, you'd clean before.
You hope.
You could steam things. You know what I mean? You could clean it, and when it's going there, you could steam some hot dogs.
Yeah, that's fair. People could do it today. I did tell you before, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Brian, who texted me while we were talking golf. They just got off the course, and props to him for getting out and doing that to start off the weekend. And hopefully I see Brian tomorrow on the 4th.
Did you say is Bryant? Is that his name?
Brian.
Brian. Okay, I was going to say we could have had him on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Fan Sports Hotline, but I digress. Bottom line, I'm going to you first. Coolest fireworks show you can remember, you recall, that still sticks in your mind. I know, sometimes it's hard to remember the year, but remember the setting, the venue, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, I have two that came to mind when you brought this up. The first was...
You're not going to go Austin Ward on me and name both of them, are you?
I'm going to give you two quick ones.
I want the one. All right, go ahead.
A couple quickies, as you might say.
All right.
The first one was in St. Louis. It's like the earliest fireworks I can remember growing up there, but they do it on the Mississippi River, so you get the arch right there in the kind of the foreground, which is pretty cool. And then there was, when I was in high school, there was a year where it rained 4th of July, and the local fireworks all over Columbus were canceled because of bad weather.
Because of drenching.
And Upper Arlington, where I grew up after we moved from St. Louis, huge 4th of July, big parade.
Northern Park?
Northern Park, yeah. The fireworks are great. But when they get to stack the years, because they order the fireworks every year.
Yeah.
So you got double the fireworks, and that was the first time I'd experienced that. We might experience that this year because they may have to, or next year because they may have to postpone. But yeah, it was just like, it went on for like what felt like 40 minutes, and it was just, I mean, they were doing any and everything. And I just remember being like, that was a fireworks show. Like, that's how every fireworks show should be. So that kind of set the standard for me.
How about you, Nate? Nate Puderbaugh?
Pat just stole mine, actually. I remember that one going on for like half an hour.
That's why I said just one, right? I mean,
It's really hard to beat a Disney fireworks display. I was down there, I was like 13 years old, and you had to watch all the fireworks for like half an hour going off over top of the castle. It's a very cool visual if you get to go down there and see it someday.
I got you, man. Yeah, the one I remember more, I mean, obviously Red, White, and Boom's been pretty damn good.
Yeah, they're good.
Most of the time, except you hear, maybe you'd like to hear a few extra new or good, not better, some new songs put into the whole entire show. The problem is you got to either be there or have your radio blaring, if you're not that close to it. But the actual fireworks are pretty stout. I'll tell you, has great fireworks every year. It's not a super long show usually, but Hilliard has a great, and they save the bulk of the bombardment for the grand finale, for want of another term. But the best fireworks show I can remember seeing live was the one at the Olympics way back when in 1984 when I covered the Olympics out in L.A. And that thing seemed to go on for 3 hours. I know it was probably 30 or 40 minutes, right? But it was pretty cool. And it was unlimited budget. When you got unlimited budget, just think about what you can do, right?
Right.
And now the double entendre aspect, Ohio State versus Utah in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State is down whatever it was, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba and C.J. Stroud put on one of the great fireworks show known to man. Agreed?
I see what you did there. Yes, that was on-field fireworks, I think is what they call it.
We'd already seen the San Gabriel Mountains with the sun on it earlier. Actually, when they, third quarter, but that's kind of when the fireworks got ignited big time.
Yes, absolutely. One of the, I won't say worst experiences, but opposite of what we're talking about. When I was growing up in Upper Arlington, there was a crew game, an away crew game. I think they played in LA on the 4th of July. And so where we grew up, I could watch the fireworks from my parents' bed. You could see like the top of them over the trees from my parents' bedroom. So my whole family went. I stayed home to watch the crew game on TV, and I was just like sitting on my parents' bed, kind of like back and forth with TV, fireworks over the trees, TV, fireworks over the trees. And that was just an interesting experience and way to experience the fireworks.
I can't say this is true anymore, but this used to be a pro tip because I just haven't done it in a long time.
I know what you're fixing to say. Go ahead.
No, the pro tip used to be if you went to the airport and you drive to the top of the parking garage there, you can see like 4 different fireworks displays all happening at the same time.
I have always wanted to be flying while you do that. I've never experienced that. I don't think you can do that anymore because you have to pay for all these garages and everything's under construction.
Another pro tip, back when the golf course over the former landfill down south off of 71, I can't remember what it was called then. It's closed now, but the top of that, you had a great view of downtown. And I've always told people I would like to watch it from the top of the, quote, mountain, end quote, at Swaco down there, the Solid Waste Authority, the dump, basically. That has to be a fantastic view. It's a long way away, but you can see, I think it's the highest point in Central Ohio. I may be wrong about that. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, it could be. I always think if you can see them from lower down, like I've watched them on parking garages and stuff.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
But I'm more of a get a blanket, sit out on the grass type of thing. Now, with Red, White, and Boom, I'd prefer to not go down there and have to do that. So you usually need to find a place that's a little bit higher. But that's for me, like that's how I watch fireworks in my mind.
Yeah. It's stunning how many people do go downtown.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, despite having the fact the traffic jam, inevitable traffic jam afterwards. I give it up to all you folks. I quit doing that a long time ago with my wife's permission. But, when we come back, speaking of a guy who's been in traffic jams before, Scott Dixon, 7-time winner at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, leaving Chip Ganassi Racing after basically a quarter of a century running for them and winning races. I had a little interview with him yesterday. We're going to get to that and more here on 97 Sports, The Fan, coming up on the Fan Sports Holiday.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
This is Mary at the Department of Rejected Dreams. If you had a dream rejected, IKEA can make it possible.
Hi, I've been dreaming of having an epic college setup.
But your college budget is less than epic.
Way less.
Well, with IKEA, you can get everything you need for college, from bedding to storage and decor, all at a great price.
That's good economics.
Sounds like someone just found their major.
Visit IKEA in-store or at ikea.us to get ready for college. IKEA, dream the possibilities.
There's this thing repair people do nowadays.
Mappo's Plumbing. Sure, we do have a dispatch fee. It's $1 zillion.
A dispatch fee, a trip charge, going out to your house bill.
Bippity Bing Bong Electrical. Our trip charge is a nice new car.
But not Apex Pros, the pros who knows. When you call Apex for repairs on your AC, plumbing, or electric, there's no dispatch fee.
Thank you for calling Apex Pros. Why would we? Kinda silly to ask for money before we do anything, isn't it?
We give you an upfront price only after we know what's really going on. We think it's the right thing to do, instead of...
Slappy's AC, electric, plumbing, dry cleaning, haberdashery, and chiropractic. Of course we charge to come out. $1 kajillion, 3 diamond rings, and 2 exotic pets.
Apex Pros. Never a dispatch fee. Examples of competitive rates may have been slightly exaggerated.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Everyone wants to be number one, right? And if you can't be number one, at least in the top 10. Well, Ohio is consistently in the top 10, and no one is claiming bragging rights. Ohio ranks in the top 10 states for train car accidents each and every year. If you drive in Ohio, please always be careful at every railroad crossing and report unsafe crossings at angelsontrack.org, because bad crossings kill good drivers. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by OAB and this station.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Putterball, their sports update. Late last night, the World Cup saw Switzerland eliminate Algeria 2-0 to advance to the round of 16. World Cup action today sees 3 games on the docket. Australia squares off with Egypt at 2, Cape Verde and Argentina are at 6, and Ghana and Colombia face off in the nightcap. Last night was the start of a 4-game series between the AL Central leaders, the Guardians and the White Sox. The Guardians rallied from 3 down, and Brian Rocchio hit a 2-run homer to walk off the Sox 6-5. They closed the gap to percentage points as they head into Game 2 tonight at 7:10. Gavin Williams of the Guardians squares off with Anthony Kay. The Cincinnati Reds are looking for back-to-back wins. They beat up on the Brewers last night 7-2. They're back at it tonight at 7:10. Brady Singer takes the mound for the Reds, take on Trevor Rogers. Catch the action right here on The Fan. And the Columbus Clippers are at home tonight, starting a weekend series with Louisville. Bringing sports news weapons to The Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
It's a holiday. You're enjoying a well-deserved day off. We're working. This is Fan Sports Holiday.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Fan Sports Holiday here on 97.1 The Fan. There, I said everything correct that time. What do you think about that, Patrick Murphy?
You were really beating yourself up about the way that.
No, I had 14 different words all trying to come out of my mouth at the same time. You ever have that happen?
Probably not 14, but yeah sometimes. Yeah.
Coach Dane.
We also, when we're talking a lot, you tend to, you tend to make mistakes.
It was pretty funny. Yeah,
you could have made a way worse mistake.
Oh, believe me, I have, ladies and gentlemen. I have done that. I think anybody who knows me knows that. Coach Day, I only have 3 questions plus 3 follow-ups.
Some quickies.
Yeah, some quickies, so to speak. A quickie. I keep thinking of John Malkovich from Rounders, but that was another kind of thing going on there. Check, check, check. Bottom line is I'm going to have a little interview I did with Scott Dixon, basically the king of Mid-Ohio. In essence, if you had to crown a king of Indy Car racing over the last 25 years, it would be Scott Dixon, who announced or joint announcement that he was leaving. He's leaving Chip Ganassi Racing after almost a quarter century there. We think is going to move to McLaren. No one has announced that yet, but it's really the synergy there in moving to McLaren is number one. That's an up and coming team. It's been around for a little while, obviously. The IndyCar racing arm of McLaren Racing, which won Formula One last year with Lando Norris. But the bottom line is he's from New Zealand, just like the founder, the late great Bruce McLaren was from New Zealand, a big-time hero in that country in terms of auto racing and a lot of other things. He not only was a great driver, he was a great innovator of race cars. We're going to get that in a second. But I did want to ask you one quick thing before we move on to that. Is there a sport that you play? Like Dillon Davis and I play golf maybe once a week if we get a chance. Is there a sport that you play that you don't play when it gets really hot?
No, I don't think so. I was trying to think. I mean, soccer's the sport I still play like regular, though I haven't played in a while. But even during the summer, like up in Dublin, they've got these like 7-on-7 outdoor adult leagues, and they're in the evening, so it's not as hot. But yeah, it can get bad. I was on an indoor soccer team that played out there that played year round, and it sounds better being inside, but those places, they have like giant ceiling fans,
right,
which help, but it gets, these are steel buildings
muggy.
Usually. Oh my gosh, it's awful. But I just view it as like a better workout.
Yeah.
And hopefully no one passes out.
You talk about a workout. Imagine driving 90 laps, whatever, around Mid-Ohio sports car course with 13 turns, no power steering, etc. It's not going to be quite as hot over the weekend as it is even today. I think their one practice session today, the Indy Car drivers is at 3 o'clock, but they'll have practice and qualifying on Saturday, and then the race at midday on Sunday on Fox before Fox moves on to World Cup coverage. But one of the guys to keep your eye on, he won it last year, Scott Dixon. He's 45 years old, but he won that race last year, one of the more grueling races on the calendar, and he's back again this year. And like I said, he's moving away from Chip Ganassi Racing. As you'll hear him correct me in a little while, nothing's been announced about where he's going, but everybody says it's going to be McLaren. So let's get to my conversation late yesterday afternoon with Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon, do you know a guy named Bruce McLaren? Have you ever heard of Bruce McLaren?
Yeah, I know of Bruce very well, yeah.
Yeah, and, basically the reports are true that you're going to move to McLaren next year. Is there a little bit of a feeling of New Zealand pride there? How would you describe it?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I guess the only announcement has been, leaving Chip's team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see where everything plays out.
But are you aware of Bruce McLaren's exploits, et cetera? I would think you are, being a Kiwi, so to speak.
I think for everybody in New Zealand, the history and heritage of Bruce McLaren and what he created. I've been a big fan of his for many years, read all his books, and obviously have a lot of photos of his and items, which is a lot of fun. But Bruce McLaren, I think for New Zealand is kind of what shaped a lot of New Zealand motorsport, and probably the history that I think every young Kiwi has had throughout the years. So especially nowadays, I think it's huge.
Speaking of shaping motorsports for Ganassi Racing and stuff, you've won here 7 times. Don't you think the gods even shined on you last year? If you follow my drift,
maybe. I don't know.
You're the king. You're the king of Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, I think the team's won 13 or 14 times here, so I think it's definitely been a good combo throughout the years. There's races that you win by chance and some that you lose by chance as well. So
but you got to put yourself there to.
Yeah, you got to be there and you got to be fighting for it. I think what's special about Mid-Ohio, at least it seems like always a 2-stopper versus a 3-stopper is always a really good race coming down towards the end. A lot of mine have been finished that way, but no, it's got a lot of fond memories here, and luckily enough, we've had 7 wins here. So this weekend we'll be going for number 8.
Last question: do you have a different feeling when you come to this? You remember I've been asking you about this for 15 years.
Yeah.
But does it give you a little bit of a special, kick knowing the success you've had here?
Yeah, I think any track.
Good vibes you get.
Any track that you come to. For me, it actually reminds me a lot of old school New Zealand tracks as well. It's not a super big track. It's a bit of a bull ring. You can get pretty aggressive with it. The surface has changed over the years. It's quite slippery now until it rubbers in. But no, definitely coming here. I think when you come back to a circuit one that if you've won it before or had the amount of wins that we have as a team, I think is it's a nice place to come back to.
Can I ask one more? Bittersweet leaving Ganassi. I mean, the success is ridiculous. The history. I mean,
of course, was
almost a quarter century.
Yeah. It's been a long time, and it was not an easy decision by any means, and it took months to really go through the process and really understand what direction I was going to go. But the team itself has been nothing but amazing, and a lot of long conversations with Chip and just trying to figure out what's next. So trust me, this family, I spend a lot more time with these people than my own family. So it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, one of the more great gentlemen I've run into covering Indy Car racing through the years. Shoot, I started covering that back in I covered Bobby Rahal's first victory at the Cleveland Grand Prix, which was back then the Cleveland 500 at Burke Lakefront Airport. It was actually a 500-kilometer race, 312 miles on an airport course. But that's the first IndyCar race I ever covered, and I started covering it, as I called it, full-time during the off-season of Ohio State football back in 1985, and Indianapolis 500, et cetera. Totally enjoyed it. Got to meet some quality people, some people who do things that the average person probably wouldn't want to do, which is going to turn 1 at Indy, going over 230 miles an hour and not lifting and trusting your car to take you through the turn, et cetera. But Scott Dixon has been about as good as there's ever been in the series. I don't know if he's underappreciated yet because of, like I said, the 6-7 IndyCar championships he's won. He's won everywhere. And we used to ask him about the King of Ohio. He's actually the king of a lot of places because he's won multiple races at a lot of places. But, yeah, have you ever been to an IndyCar race?
I have not, no.
Yeah, I would think you're a man with international flair about you. You'd been to an IndyCar race or a Formula One race by now.
I have some friends who are super into F1. I have watched some of it with them. I've not gotten into it. I did go to, I guess I went to the Indy 500, I guess.
That is an IndyCar race.
Yeah, now that I was thinking back, we did that for my friend's bachelor party a few years ago, and so I correct myself. I have been to that, and that was a lot of fun.
It was.
But I understand that that's pretty different than the other IndyCar races.
Oh, yeah, there's 300. Well, now there's more than 300,000 people there. You know, they had a little bit of a swoon there during the split, the schism, whatever you want to call it, that separated the two factions of open-wheel racing in the United States, but it has come back in a big-time way, especially since Roger Penske bought the track. He bought it. His first race as the owner was in 2020, the COVID year. There was basically no one allowed to be there except a few of us, and it was run in August. Takuma Sato won that race for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. But the bottom line is, yeah, I mean, the last 3 years, the crowd has been crazy. The pre-race is like no other pre-game race setting in any sport. It's unbelievable. I'm talking about the Indy 500. You were there.
Yeah.
You witnessed it.
I was blown away. Like, I didn't really, some of the guys had been there before. Obviously, he's doing it for his bachelor party, so he's been there. And they kind of gave me hey, here's kind of what you expect. We're in the infield. You can bring your own food and drinks and stuff in there. But I was still blown away with the size of it.
Yeah.
The sound as they come by. Yeah. I took probably the first, few laps to really pay attention to what was going on before kind of the party atmosphere got going. But it was impressive stuff. And I didn't know what to expect, honestly, other than what the guys had told me. So it's something I would definitely do again.
Yeah, it's crazy when the last time you saw those group of cars go by, they were going 80 miles an hour. And the next time they come by, they're all doing 220 plus.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to see.
Twice as fast as an Aroldis Chapman fastball.
Yeah.
I mean, more than twice as fast as of Nolan Ryan's best pitch ever. It's crazy to think that guys are sitting in those things driving them. But Mid-Ohio's a little more tame. It's turns. It's straightaways. We'll hit 180 down the back straightaway. It's still extremely, extremely fast. Guys have been hurt there in crashes. Simon Pagenaud's career ended there. He wasn't hurt, but he suffered a concussion, flipping over about 7 times, going into the sand trap at the end of the main straight on the back. And it was crazy. But so they're always in jeopardy. I always say this about football, auto racing, and boxing. 2 of them, they wear a helmet, and 1 of them, they should. And because once you get inside the ring, whatever that ring is, on a football field, a auto racing track, or a boxing ring, you're in jeopardy. Your well-being is in jeopardy. So I give it up to those guys for doing it. I hope people have a good time going there. Speaking of stepping into the ring, who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? We already know the starting quarterbacks for the other 2 pro football teams in the state of Ohio, the Bengals and the Buckeyes. Who's going to be the starting quarterback, do you think, Pat, for the Cleveland Browns? If you have an answer, hold it. We'll be back in just a moment here on the Fan Sports Holiday.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
No! USA is up 2-0. That is the most dangerous lead in soccer.
Relax, Mike.
See that, Dan? My left eye is twitching. That's my warning eye. It'll be 2-2 by stoppage time. It's never wrong.
With early payout from Bet365, I got paid the second they went up 2 goals. So to me, it's now the safest lead.
Early payout from Bet365, huh? Now my right eye is twitching, Dan.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Are you missing some freeloading buddies in your life? Well, catch Bishop and Friends on The Fan, featuring Columbus sports veteran Bo Bishop.
I have to acknowledge that I definitely had a mullet in middle school.
A man about town. Bo's a father who gives excellent advice.
If you're going to give me a breakfast pastry out of a box, the toaster strudel is significantly superior to the Pop-Tart.
Bishop and Friends, weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan. And tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 The Fan.
Now at Kroger, your points add up to more ways to save every trip. Use them your way to take dollars off groceries at checkout or save at the pump. You can even save up to $35 on your next fill-up. Same points, more choices. And with low prices on fresh, quality food, plus digital and personalized offers tailored to how you shop, your dollar goes further. Redeem your points online or in the app. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site or store for details.
I'm fixing to tell you something that the insurance industry does not want you to ever hear. Bullies often delay and deny. I see them sitting on premiums paid and making money and dragging it out for as long as they can. Many times, we're forced to take them to court. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Their high-paid lobbyists are on a mission to make sure that at trial, jurors are not allowed to learn that the at-fault party has insurance, and in some cases, lots of it. I can think of no case in all my years where there was no insurance for the at-fault party. So let's fight back. It's all these bullies understand. Tell everybody you know the truth. If you've been injured in a car crash or hurt at a store or business, visit forthepeople.com. We're here 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Common Man here for my friends at Care Heating and Cooling. Summertime napping season is upon us. What's that mean? Well, that means for me, a little nap on the leather couch. I got the ceiling fan on, but if that AC's not working properly, that nap turns into crap. Am I right? You got to make sure that AC's in tip-top shape, and the only people to call are my friends at Care Heating and Cooling. The message on their homepage says, we care about your comfort, because they do. If you're not comfortable in your own home, they start to get itchy and scratchy. Here's what you need to know about my friends at Care. They've won the Lennox Centurion Award for 17 years in a row. Now, if you're not in the biz, you don't know what that is, but I'm going to tell you, it's given to the top 5% of Lennox dealers in the country each year. Their service techs are the best in the business, and there's not a problem they can't solve, except maybe the meaning of life. They had no answer when I asked them. But think about living without central AC. Mess you up. My friends at Care also have easy online scheduling. CareHeatingandCooling.com. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Financial literacy starts young. Ohio Credit Union offers Greenlight, the popular money app and debit card for kids at no cost with your personal checking account. Help them earn, save, and learn. Visit telhio.org/Greenlight.
Telhio is open to anyone in Central and Southwest Ohio, federally insured by NCUA.
Life is full of uncertainties. You can't control the economy, the prices at the pump, or the grocery store, and you certainly cannot control the weather. But the one thing you can control is your home's efficiency and comfort. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us help you take back control of your home by insulating your walls with our premium foam. You give us a call today, we'll come out, we'll insulate your walls, and we'll throw in your attic for free. So give us a call today, 529-2440 or usaiinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Warmer weather, longer days, lighter meals, more time outside. Summer gives weight loss a head start. Awaken 180 gives you the plan to make it happen. Ride the momentum with Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer.
If only there was a radio show that constantly talked about Ohio State athletics. Well, good news. It's real, baby. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz. Today's weather a lot like yesterday, mostly sunny, hot and humid, mid-90s for a high with the heat index near 105. An isolated storm is possible late. Watching for another chance of storms overnight. And then for tomorrow, scattered showers and storms mostly in the afternoon and evening, highs in the lower 90s. For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
T-Bone and Tyvus are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan. This is The Fan. It's also a holiday. Why don't we call it Fan Sports Holiday?
Yeah, why don't we call it Fan Sports Holiday? I'm Tim May, along with Patrick Murphy. We're the guys who did we draw the short straw or the long straw? What did we draw?
I get to be here with you. You get to be here with me. Nate's here. I think we're doing great.
I think we're doing
great. It's air conditioned in here.
Yes, you could hang meat in here actually.
Yeah, it's
for later on for the festivities.
Exactly. So I honestly, other than the fact that there's a World Cup game starting at 2, but we'll have that on. I'd rather be here than sitting outside right now.
Yeah. By the way, do you try to watch a part of every World Cup game? I've found myself trying to do that.
Yeah, I've watched every game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did fall asleep last night, or I had it on in bed, and Carter was sort of in and out because the game went till 1 in the morning.
Yes.
And I agreed to get up and do the morning juice at 7:05. So I was like, I should probably at least lay down, and I did fall asleep before that one ended. But for the most part, I did find myself while we were in Kansas City, because the last group games are played at the same time, so you can't fix the games in theory.
Yeah.
Though I think there's still a way to do that if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
So the Fox One app plays them side by side. So I had them like on my phone. They were just very small screens to watch, but I was able to watch both simultaneously when we weren't at like a bar, restaurant type of thing.
That sounds like the way I watch college football when either I get home after an Ohio State game that was at noon. That's why I like noon games, by the way.
Yeah, don't say that too loud.
I know, but I do. I adore noon games, noon starts, but I get 2 televisions going, plus I can put a split screen on my big 75-inch television and enjoy college football, and I'm glad to hear you can do the same thing with the World Cup.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Speaking of enjoying football, I don't know if you noticed the little nuance I put into that promo for this segment last time, but of the 3 pro football teams in Ohio.
Yes, I got it.
The Bengals and the Buckeyes know who their starting quarterback is.
Yep.
I think they feel real good, real solid with both of them. Joe Burrow with the Bengals, man, just stay healthy all season. We'll see what happens. And Julian Sayin with Ohio State Buckeyes, who
also stay healthy. That'd be good.
Yeah, Julian Sayin, I think what he's making for being the quarterback at Ohio State, it probably ranks right up there with a couple of these guys, right?
Probably not Burrow.
I'm talking about just their salary. Not Burrow, but
probably not Watson.
Probably not Watson. I'm talking about just salary. Not the signing bonus and all that kind of stuff.
Man, when we get to signing bonuses,
with Shedeur Sanders, who was a 5th round draft pick, I would think his salary ranks up there extremely well. But let's get to the Browns, because number one, my middle kid, Corey, I just feel so sorry for him, man. There's a nice little pennant hanging in one of these rooms here that has the Browns and their run of success from when Paul Brown started them with the All-American Football Conference back in the late 40s after World War II was done. Well, I think they won 3 or 4 championships there, and they won 3 NFL championships after they joined the NFL. And the last one was what year? This is before the Super Bowl. I'll give you that hint.
Yeah, I don't know this one.
It's 1964.
Okay.
It's been that long, buddy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't called the Super Bowl then. It was called the National Football League Championship game.
Yes. All right. 64.
Yeah.
That is a long time.
One of them was 54, the year I was born.
Okay.
So it's crazy. And yet we're sitting here in July, the beginning of July. Training camp is fast headed this way, pell-mell this way, as you all know. And, it looks like a Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, battle royale.
Right.
That's with an E. Battle royale for the starting job of the Cleveland Browns. Who you got and why you got him?
That's tough.
I didn't know I was going to ask you that question.
Even if you did, I still think it's tough to answer.
Still would have stammered?
Yeah, because, look, I think with the money that the Browns are paying Deshaun Watson, I think it would not surprise me, I guess is how I would phrase that, if he gets the first crack at it. Because, as good as Shedeur did last year, it wasn't like he came in and, oh, my God, that is the guy. We found the guy.
The guy.
So,
but he grew on you a little bit.
He did. He absolutely did. And I think there's a player there. Now, is that player a starting quarterback for a playoff level team which is what the Browns want to get to? I don't know, but the Browns aren't there yet. So could you continue to grow with him? To me, that would be the smart thing to do. But I understand that you're paying Deshaun Watson this crazy amount of money. And look, I know how bad he's been in Cleveland. I know all the off-field stuff, but if we're talking strictly about the player, there's a player. I mean, you and I covered him, twice against Ohio State when he was at Clemson.
I voted for him for the Heisman.
Yeah, and
he
rightfully
didn't win it,
so.
but I voted for him.
And then his time in Houston, I know it didn't end well because of the injuries, but he was really, he revitalized that kind of franchise that had, basically followed the path of the Blue Jackets of coming off an expansion and not doing anything.
Yeah.
So, if he cares, I think that's a big thing too, and puts in the effort and whatnot, you can get even some of that player
something back for it.
Right. I think that there is there's a good quarterback in there. Do you want to do that? Do you want to see if that's there, or do you just say, "Hey, Shedeur, let's roll with what we've got now"? We know we're probably not in the competition for the top of the AFC North or anything this season, and let's give you another chance to do that. And then the odd man out here is Dillon Gabriel, who ironically was the higher of the two quarterbacks they took in last year's NFL draft.
Yep.
And it just seems like he's been kind of tossed to the wayside. I know he didn't have a great, few games there, but, he was really good at Oregon.
Wait a minute. He's left-handed. Wait a minute. He's how tall?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense why it hasn't worked, but.
Yeah. But, I mean, I like Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, he's got moxie, as they
He
say.
has moxie. He's still got to be able to read the defenses and throw the ball to the right guy and not be timid all day long. He seemed to be timid more than anything else for the most part. Shedeur, like you said, he grew on me as the season went on because, I don't know, it's just there's a sense that he has a feel for the game. You follow it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not every great quarterback who comes along has that feel for the game. And I think the more he plays, I think the better he will be at that, about getting the feel for a National Football League game. And then Deshaun Watson, my wife is on record as saying she would never, ever root for the Browns if Deshaun Watson's their quarterback.
Yeah.
And we all know why.
She's not the only one.
Exactly. So, that's a sort of a PR thing will always be there. Correct?
Absolutely.
And you've got to deal with, if in fact you declare he's your guy, this is the guy that's going to lead you to the promised land. But man, if you ever led him to the promised land, it would probably change at least a little bit of the narrative. Agreed?
Sure. I mean, there's lots of examples of guys who have been accused of or done, terrible things. I think one of the more famous is Kobe Bryant and the stuff that the rape allegations in Colorado. And then, he kind of has this second act that was the end of his NBA career, but then also what he was getting into, obviously, before he unfortunately passes away, where he'd really kind of redeemed himself in many people's eyes. And I'm not saying Deshaun Watson's going to do that, but it starts with kind of making people not forget, but not talk about it as much, because you all of a sudden start performing on the floor or the court, the field, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
He has not done that. If he'd come to Cleveland and been the player he was in Houston, it still would come up. There'd still be people like your wife who are saying, "Hey, I'm not cheering for this guy. I'm not watching this team." But they'd be fewer than they are when he goes out there and stinks it up.
Yeah. The combo there just is hard to.
Yes.
It's hard to get past. What's that line? It's like going to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
You go north till you. What? North till you smell it.
Yeah.
And west till you step in it.
Yes. There you go. Do you have an NFL team? I don't know if we've ever, do you consider yourself a fan of one particular team?
Growing up, I was a fan of the Green Bay Packers because Bart Starr was from Alabama.
Yeah,
I was growing up in Alabama, and then we moved to Texas. I was definitely a fan of Bart Starr then because everybody else in Texas was a Cowboys fan.
Sure.
So I wanted the Packers to beat them every time. But, since then, no. I covered the Browns and the Bengals back in the late 70s, early 80s for the Dispatch until I started covering Ohio State football in 84. And but never – I've just always liked pro football.
Yeah.
Not as much as college football, though. College football has a different –
I agree.
I don't know, just for me. One of the reasons is because these guys would come and go, and for that 3 or 4 years you had them, now it's going to be 5 maybe.
Yeah.
You had them, and then new guys would come along. It's just lately that college football became a career choice. Isn't that crazy? I mean, Jacoby Jackson, for Ohio State, he said we're going into his 7th year post high school, and that's not going to happen anymore based on the 5 for 5. You get 5 to play 5. It used to be 5 to play 4. But, we're headed into a different time. Speaking of different time, one of my best buddies, Bruce Martin, I've known him for, 40 years. He's going to be with us in just a moment when we come back to talk about Indy Car, but also talk about being an Indiana fan with a different team to root for, a different sport to root for, and does it feel even grander when you really put football up against basketball? When we come back here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Fan Sports Holiday here on 97.1, The Fan.
The rings, the moment, the forever. Make it unforgettable. Join us July 24th and 25th for Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend. Enjoy preferred bridal pricing on wedding bands and engagement rings now up to 30% off. Visit Diamond Seller on Selma Road or at Easton Town Center.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
CEC Turf and Tractor is growing. We're proud to welcome Green & Sons Equipment's Mount Sterling and Marysville locations. Same hometown service you trust, now with the strength of one of Ohio's largest Kubota dealers. Visit CECTurfandTractor.com today.
America wouldn't be America without Ohio. So this year, while we celebrate our nation's 250th year, let's also celebrate Ohio's vital role in our nation's past, its present, and its future. At America250ohio.org, you'll find events from engaging talks on history to Ohio-related movies to memorable drives around the state. There's so much to discover. So what are you waiting for? The celebration begins at America250ohio.org. Sponsored by the Ohio History Connection, aired by the OAB and this station.
I'm Jeff Hogan. I've been a journalist at 10 TV for more than 20 years. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to speak up, or lend a hand. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. News, special guests, and everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. It's a holiday. Most people took the day off. These guys didn't get the email. Welcome to Fan Sports Holiday.
Absolutely. Welcome to Fan Sports Holiday. This is Tim May along with Patrick Murphy. We drew the long and short straws. We hoarded the market of straws and got this gig here on Red, White, and Boom Day, correct?
Yeah. It's Boom Day in Columbus.
It's also Rev Your Engines Day up at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, where the Indy Cars are about to practice here in about an hour and a half, headed towards Saturday qualifying, headed towards Sunday's race on Fox. They're going to show that race on Fox before they wind right into your beloved World Cup. What do you think about that, Patrick?
Love it.
Yeah, there we go. Well, that was a very succinct answer.
That's what I'm here for.
A guy who never gives you a succinct answer, and that's why I like having conversations with him. Bruce Martin. Bruce Martin, welcome to the Fan Sports Holiday, my friend.
Well, I've got to tell you, the weather up here has certainly put the steam in Steam Corners, Ohio.
Exactly. That's a good one, brother. That's a good one. You know, our good friend, late great friend Dave Wolford that was his date line was Steam Corners. Instead of Lexington.
It's still my date line. Well, as I tell everybody, we're a half a mile from the sign that says Steam Corners. So at least in my copy, it says Steam Corners, Ohio.
Okay, you and Dave Wolford, you know, I'm not sure that Lexington doesn't go all the way around the place by now, but I digress. I wanted to ask you this before we talk about Indy Car, before we talk about this race, but also the championship race that could really pick up steam, pardon the pun, if something once again happens with Alex Palou in his car, much like we've seen but especially at Road America, what happened with them, the rare mistake in the pit speed limit. But before we get going with that, as I told my buddy Patrick, you're a longtime Indiana University graduate, and for a long time, Indiana was known as a basketball school, and then along came this guy named Kurt Cignetti, an older guy to be getting his first major college head coaching job. And what does he do? They've lost 2 games in the last 2 years and won a national championship. How has life changed for you as an Indiana fan?
Indiana football is the old Indiana basketball. They used to, when you thought of Indiana University, you thought of Bob Knight, you thought of Scott May, you thought of Quinn Buckner, you thought of Isaiah Thomas, you thought of Steve Alford, you thought of 5 banners hanging from Assembly Hall. Now that looks about as likely as, getting a 6 banner to hang from there looks like a tall order. But who would have ever thought that Indiana University would have won a national championship in college football? And I had a chance to talk to Coach Signetti on the starting grid of the Indianapolis 500 this year because he drove the pace car. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, as an IU grad, I never thought this would ever have been a possibility. And he said to me, he says, don't always believe the hype.
Yeah, or the lack of.
Would you, before this all went down these last 2 years, would you have traded the success of Indiana basketball for a run like this? Or are you more, hey, I'd like basketball to get back to where it was and football can take a back seat? How do you feel about this kind of?
Well, I mean, Indiana's a basketball state, and it means something to all those national championships that IU had in basketball definitely mean something. So I'd never trade those away. And when you think about it, I mean, for the most part, Indiana's never really been known as a football state other than the fact it's the home state of Notre Dame. But Notre Dame doesn't really count as an Indiana school. It's more like a transplanted school from all over the country that just happens to be in South Bend, Indiana. I go back to the mid-'60s when Purdue University had some national teams of note with Bob Greasy at quarterback and later Mike Phipps. That was a quarterback school, and you could get great quarterbacks. Len Dawson went to Purdue University. But IU football was never really a big deal. And, for them to go to the Rose Bowl with the 1967 season, you thought that was the pinnacle. Then all of a sudden, Curt Signetti shows up, and you realize there really is a pinnacle to what you can accomplish with Indiana football. It's like I've told everybody after they won the national championship, I didn't say this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I thought this was a once-in-a-human-history experience because I didn't ever think in the history of the earth that Indiana University would ever win a national championship in college football.
Yeah, it took 4 billion years to get there, but boy, did y'all get there. It was pretty much fun. Real quick, Bruce, before I ask you a little bit about Indy Car in the race this weekend, what feels better? What seems more grand to you, a basketball championship or a national championship in football now that you've experienced it?
Well, it depends on how invested you are in each of those championships. There's been some years where, Indiana, it was the 76 Hoosiers, they had to win the national championship because of what they meant to college basketball the year before. Yeah. They were undefeated. They got upset by the University of Kentucky in the final game of an NCAA regional. They only lost by 2 points. That crushed the state for a month. Indiana University could have gone through the championship, and had they not beaten Miami, it would still been a heck of a year for IU football that they got to the national championship game. I think I've told you this in the past. When they beat Miami, to me, it was more of a sense of relief. The actual emotional part was when they won the Big Ten championship because they beat Ohio State, and it was a rock fight. Yes. And the fact that it was a rock fight and Indiana didn't back down and was able to play Ohio State in a tough physical game, I thought that made that accomplishment much more of an emotional win for Indiana fans.
That's because Curt Signetti started recruiting the Cutters, the Cutters. Remember that, breaking away? But I digress.
Yes.
He got guys that throw rocks. Real quickly, Mid-Ohio, obviously the race is on Sunday. Alex Palou has given some people new life in the championship race. But past that, the big news coming out in the last 2 weeks, first of Felix Rosenquist leaving Meyer Shank Racing. And I know you've written about that and reported on that for Forbes and the other entities you deal with. But also, basically a quarter of a decade, a quarter of a century, it seems like. Scott Dixon's been at Chip Ganassi Racing. Now he's leaving. It seems like both of them are headed to McLaren, although neither one of them would admit that yesterday as we were talking with them. But what is your sense of this of these developments for the IndyCar series in this silly season?
Well, Scott Dixon nearly went to McLaren during his last contract. He came pretty close to signing that deal. He didn't sign it. He returned to Ganassi. During that time, he's had some frustrations at Chip Ganassi Racing, a lot of the ones that he won't go into detail about, but talking to some people on the crew, they felt like, there was some changes on the engineering stand where there were, at times, there was some chaos during, race decisions that may have put Dixon in a bad spot in terms of a key pit stop to win the race. And a lot of times he's won races on stretching his fuel mileage, but I can think of at least 6 or 7 times where he's lost races by staying out 1 or 2 laps too long and getting caught with a caution flag, which then really foils any chance that he had at making that strategy work.
Right.
But Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi Racing will always go down as an historic pairing. It's going to be strange to see him racing for another team, presumably McLaren, because it's going to be like watching Tom Brady playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or going back even a few more decades, Johnny Unitas playing for the San Diego Chargers, or my favorite quarterback when he's with the Indianapolis Colts, Peyton Manning, ending his career with the Denver Broncos. The big difference in those scenarios was both Brady and Manning were able to win Super Bowls with their second team.
Yeah, it's like me going back to Joe Namath, all of a sudden ending his career with the Los Angeles Rams after taking the Jets to that big Super Bowl win, the 3rd Super Bowl, and changing pro football forever. Real quick, Felix Rosenqvist leaving. You were talking with Mike Shank yesterday. Matter of fact, you can hear him sort of in the interview I do with Felix Rosenqvist. I can hear you in the interview I do with Felix Rosenqvist while y'all were discussing it. But how would you rate Mike Shank's reaction to finding out Felix Rosenqvist, after winning the Indy 500, is moving elsewhere? And we presume that's probably going to be to McLaren too, though nothing's been announced.
I asked him that at Road America 2 weeks ago, and he was very animated and said, man, it's like the body is still warm. We weren't even allowed to be able to celebrate winning the Indianapolis 500, like we should have. Now all of a sudden I've got to deal with this.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy. He was emotional, but I think he's perked up a bit today because he announced that Marcus Armstrong has signed a multi-year extension. He's going to continue this season in the 66 car, but beginning in 2027, Marcus Armstrong will drive the number 60 entry, which was the entry that won the Indianapolis 500 for Felix Rosenqvist.
Exactly. And by the way, I told him at the beginning of the year, I thought Marcus Armstrong, I really like him. He's got that bite about him, man. He wants to be out front if he can be. And, of course, the last race out at Road America had the engine problem when he was leading the race, or else he might have had that win. So it's interesting. Last thing real quick, what is your biggest story you're watching on the track come Sunday?
Well, first of all, it's going to be whether it's as hot as it is now. Now, these drivers are professional athletes. They come from hot weather climates. They know how to deal in these conditions. But what that'll do to the track, if it makes it slick, if it makes it slippery, I have a feeling it's going to be another Alex Palou show. I think that Alex is determined that he knows he messed up at the end of last year's race. That was a victory that he let get away. But we talk about bringing new life into the championship. If you run the table of any Indy Car race, it's 54 points. Palou enters this race with a 60-point lead. So even if he has a bad race, he's still going to leave here as the leader. So he's got that going for him. But I really think that right now, with so much disarray as you're seeing in the paddock of who's staying, who's going, I think that really plays in Alex Palou's favor, because all they got to worry about is just going out there and keep doing what they're doing.
Exactly. And don't speed in the pits. It's the last thing they tell you probably before you get out there. But you know what, Bruce, thank you very much for joining us, my man. It's the first time we've ever done this together, even though we've had millions of dinners together. Enjoyed it.
I got to tell you one little Marcus Armstrong story if I've got time, though. He was saying how much that he loved, because he's also from New Zealand and Scott Dixon's from New Zealand, that he used to have a Scott Dixon poster, in his bedroom.
There you go.
And I told him, I go, when I was your age, I had a Farrah Fawcett poster. He didn't know who Farrah Fawcett was.
Wow. And tell him, by the way,
Tim. He did not know who Farrah Fawcett was, and we told him to Google it, and that she was in Charlie's Angels.
By the way, tell him next time, too, that this guy named Tim May actually interviewed Farrah Fawcett before she became a Charlie's Angel when she was the MC for the Miss Lufkin pageant, Lufkin, Texas. So, wow, that really dates us, I think.
Yes, but as we talk right now, Marcus Armstrong does not know who Farrah Fawcett was.
Crazy. That's crazy. Show him the poster, and we'll see if it perks him up.
It just goes to show us how old we are.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my good friend. We even had dinner at the Der Dutchman last night. Bruce Martin, thanks for joining us, man. When we return, we're going to talk about July 4th. For me, has always been turning the page toward football. I'll see if Patrick Murphy thinks the same thing here on 97.1 The Fan Sports Holiday.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread yard work, in 90-degree weather.
Wow, it is a scorcher out there today.
With a swarm of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around. Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
When you're craving scratch-made food, 29-degree draft beer, and the best seat in the house for every game, there's only one place to go. Twin Peaks. From juicy burgers and smoked in-house wings to those ice-cold brews served by the friendliest team around, Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports lodge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you never miss a moment. So grab your crew and head to Twin Peaks, where the views are great, the food hits hard, and the beer is always colder than your ex's heart.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on the select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
There's only one Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic. Because this ad is 30 seconds, I can't get into everything I'm FDA approved to do, so I'm just going to play my jingle again. But first, ask your doctor about which FDA approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA approved Ozempic. Now here's that jingle again.
There's only one Ozempic.
Common Man and Timmy. Voted America's dumbest show by Marconi voters. Common Man is a Columbus radio legend. And by legend, I mean it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And Timmy is, well, Timmy will complain about anything and everything. And he kind of looks like a woman. Giggity, giggity, giggity. So there's that. Common Man and Timmy.
Sponsored by Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to see the world differently, moves us to action. And we believe that today, wonder is more essential than ever. Wow. That's why we're supporting a new generation of explorers to ask big questions, make breakthroughs, and bring the future closer. Wonder awaits. Will you join us? Visit natgeo.org/wonder.
Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Cool cars, cool people, good tires. Get ready for the biggest and best automotive happening of the year. The Good Guys 28th Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. Over 6,000 classes. Shop the swap meet in Huge Fender Midway. See which ride takes home the crown of the Good Guys 2026 Forge Line Street Machine and Classic Instrument Street Rod of the Year. July 10th to the 12th at the newly renovated Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Details at good-guys.com.
It's 2026, the year you achieve your health goals. The Good Feet store wants to help. Trade in your bad feet for good feet. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
When you first saw her, she was out walking her dog. You didn't notice her at first. But when you finally did, it was too late. Because at that moment, you were speeding.
She was out walking her dog and only had a second to let go of the leash. Your foot was on the gas, and her life was on the line. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Ready to tackle those home projects? Whether it's a new patio, fresh paint, or some more space, now's the perfect time to make it happen. With a home equity loan from CME Federal Credit Union, you'll get an introductory 3.99% APR for 12 months, giving you the flexibility to take on those dream house projects. From big renovations to simple refreshes, your home's next chapter starts at CME. Visit CMEFCU.org to apply today and get your plans underway. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we're at Scioto for the U.S. Senior Open. We'll chat with PGA professional Stuart Sink, as well as Dave Shedlowski of Golf Digest.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. It's a holiday. While you're sleeping in, grilling out, and enjoying the day off, we're talking sports. This is Fan Sports Holiday.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to those who may have just joined us. They're gathering downtown slowly but surely for the Red, White, and Boom. It should be the Sweat, White, and Boom. What do you think? Or Red Sweat and Boom? How would you rename it today?
We're going to have to workshop that one a little bit.
We should have run that through a workshop for a
Sweat, White,
Sweat.
That doesn't come across great. I don't know.
Hot Sweat and Boom?
Maybe, yeah. You got to have the boom, though.
You got to have the boom or you got nothing going for you.
Exactly.
But the bottom line is it's coming tonight. I always think when it gets this hot, those fireworks have been sitting there on the ramp or wherever they put them on over there, just sitting there just kind of cooking.
Hopefully they don't get too hot or they might explode.
That's what I'm saying. They're sitting there cooking. Did you see that, by the way, that video of the truck that crashed? It was like a couple of weeks ago, semi-trailer, and all of a sudden, the greatest fireworks show you ever saw. Impromptu. It went on forever. So I might have put that on my list if I'd actually been part of that traffic jam. The way traffic jams happen around this town, especially on 270, 71, et cetera, you never know what you're going to see.
No.
And by the way, we're going to talk about a lot of things in the final hour. One of those things, we're going to have Andrew Gillis on from Cleveland.com to talk about Ohio State football recruiting just a little bit more in depth because, boy, they're cooking. I mean, with, as the old saying goes, with gas. I mean, it's been pretty cool to see what they've racked up here over the last few weeks. And we'll see where it's going and what he thinks about, the innuendo out there that one of the main reasons is they have possibly the best payroll in college football. We'll see what he thinks about that. Obviously some people think Texas does. And that's why I said, the second game of the year, the game at Austin, it's going to be an epic football game.
Yeah, and it gets to be at night. What a concept.
Yeah, what a concept. Speaking of football, notice my little segues there?
That was good.
Speaking of football, all through my life, July 4th kind of marked that moment where whatever I was trying to, pass my time with, get it? The great old American pastime.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I was trying to pass my time with, trying to stay interested. That's the great thing about the World Cup. It came along exactly the right time this year. Although, I've gone to like I said, the last 5 U.S. Opens, I've gone as a volunteer, totally enjoyed my time, but that's only 1 week in June. Leading up to Father's Day, but this is when I always mentally turn the page starting July the 5th or so. I start thinking big time, obviously, but thinking big time about college football and what's coming. Mainly college football, some pro football, but what's it like for you? You're a young whippersnapper compared to me. Well, have you found yourself, though, you get in these, for want of a term, a cycle, and it's like Groundhog Year instead of Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Where now you've got to be on your game. Things are coming and going, et cetera. Do you get that same sense about football season standing out there? I used to look so forward back in the day to the College All-Star game, which was the College All-Stars versus the reigning National Football League champion. And it's Soldier Field in downtown Chicago, not Hammond.
Not Hammond, Indiana.
But the bottom line is look so forward to seeing a real football game.
Right.
And they did. They played real football, man. It was pretty crazy. And then finally all the owners said, wait a minute, we don't want our star draft pick getting hurt a month before the season starts in the NFL. But go ahead.
Yes. Mine has always been, so my birthday is July 19th.
Wow.
And which is, interestingly, when the World Cup final will be. So that's always been like, once I got through my birthday, it was, we're moving towards college football season. Like growing up, you know, I'd watch they'd have, you know, like ESPN used to, I don't know if they still do, had like a summer college football show that would have updates every day. And as you got closer, you know, to August like that show started to actually like have some real content. It wasn't just guesswork anymore.
Yes.
And like you with that All-Star game, like the Hall of Fame game that they do now, which is like one of the most meaningless preseason games, and preseason games in themselves are meaningless. But like that's appointment viewing for me. Like it's just like you said, there's football. It's not great football. It's not the starters usually or anything like that. But yeah, so once I get through my birthday, especially now doing this for a living, it's like, all right, the summer's kind of winding down. You know, Big Ten Media Days is usually right after that. And then we get back and it's fall camp. And we'll see if that's the case in the future with the way they're talking about maybe doing structuring the off season. But yeah, that's always kind of how I viewed it, is like, once I got through my birthday, it's time to start looking toward football season.
The great thing about Ross Bjork bringing up the calendar for football and what we're talking about of possibly having the equivalent of 2 OTAs during, instead of one spring football practice, 2 OTAs and leading up to an extended maybe or abbreviated preseason camp, is that's the way you ought to do it. I mean, you've heard me ask Ryan Day about that a few years ago about, have you ever thought about the idea of what a couple of OTAs would mean in terms of just one big spring practice, and then now they get to work out and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying they go away anywhere, but that seems to make more sense, especially if they can get the transfer portal figured out, that in fact it happens the first week of January, but then get the calendar figured out around that. It makes so much sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, the calendar in college, not just college football, college athletics, is not ideal.
For
we
anything.
all know that. Yeah. So there's a lot to figure out, but I do think this is an interesting idea of, you know, spreading out what you're allowed to do. You know, I do kind of get the feeling that preseason goes on a little longer than maybe, especially talking to players, like it just drags on a little bit. So
yeah.
I don't think you're losing a ton by shortening it. I get, you know, if you asked Ryan, you want every practice possible, especially like last year when you're starting with Texas. But I do think if you shortened it, because you get other things throughout the offseason, other opportunities, I think it would potentially work out better.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's all I have time to say. I might have a little bit of problem with some of those things.
Sure,
but I'm going to say I agree with you 100%, you know, because we got to take a break here now. But when we come back, I'm going to ask you what NFL team you would buy stock in right now that's not on anybody's radar, and what college football team would you buy stock on that's not on anybody's radar. I said, repeating myself, when we come back here for the Fan Sports Holiday here on 97.1 The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Craving the O? Now it comes to you. For loyal fans, the O on Lane is now offering the O on the Go catering delivery. Perfect for the office or any group. Order boxed lunches or group catering right now at theoonlane.com. The O on the Go, delivered fresh, delivered easy.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Offering the guaranteed best price is always our baseline. Wedding weekend adds an exceptional advantage. Join us July 24th and 25th and enjoy preferred bridal pricing on select wedding and anniversary bands with advantages up to 30% off, plus special no-interest financing on engagement rings. It's a rare opportunity to pair meaningful value with exceptional service and reputation that define Diamond Cellar. Discover Wedding Weekend July 24th and 25th at Diamond Cellar on Selma Road or Easton Town Center.
At CEC Turf and Tractor, family means everything. That's why we're proud to welcome Green & Sons Equipment's Mount Sterling and Marysville locations to the CEC family. We're honored to carry on the relationships Green & Sons has built in these communities for generations while expanding our ability to serve you with more parts, more inventory, and faster response times. As one of Ohio's largest Kubota dealers, CEC Turf and Tractor is growing without losing sight of what matters most: hardworking people, trusted relationships, and hometown service. Visit CECturfandtractor.com today for all your Kubota needs.
The big one returns to Ohio. It's the Good Guys 28th Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. See over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and classic trucks on display. And don't miss Good Guys Autocross racing action, a tire-smoking burnout competition, a pro street takeover, an earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest. Meet the top builders and so much more. Happening July 10th through the 12th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Life is full of uncertainties. You can't control the economy, the prices at the pump, or the grocery store, and you certainly cannot control the weather. But the one thing you can control is your home's efficiency and comfort. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us help you take back control of your home by insulating your walls with our premium foam. You give us a call today, we'll come out, we'll insulate your walls, and we'll throw in your attic for free. So give us a call today, 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation. I'm Tracy Townsend, anchor at 10 TV News This Morning. This community is my home, and it means everything to me. I care deeply about the stories we bring you each day, especially the ones that truly impact your life, from women's health and advocacy to the decisions happening at the State House. My goal is simple: help you feel informed and connected, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to 10 TV News This Morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Putterball with your sports update. Late last night at the World Cup saw Switzerland eliminate Algeria 2-0 to advance to the round of 16. World Cup action today sees 3 games on the docket. Australia squares off with Egypt at 2. Cape Verde and Argentina are at 6. And Ghana and Colombia face off in the nightcap. Last night was the start of a 4-game series between the AL Central leaders, the Guardians and the White Sox. The Guardians rallied from 3 down, and Brian Rocchio hit a 2-run homer to walk off the Sox 6-5. They closed the gap to percentage points as they head into Game 2 tonight at 7:10. Gavin Williams of the Guardians squares off with Anthony Kay. The Cincinnati Reds are looking for back-to-back wins. They beat up on the Brewers last night 7-2. They're back at it tonight at 7:10. Brady Singer takes the mound for the Reds, take on Trevor Rogers. Catch the action right here on The Fan. And the Columbus Clippers are at home tonight, starting a weekend series with Louisville. Bringing sports news weapons to The Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
It's a holiday. You're enjoying a well-deserved day off. We're working. This is Fan Sports Holiday.
We're not just working, we're working hard. We're working hard for the money.
Yeah.
Agreed, Patrick Murphy?
I don't know. The World Cup just kicked off for the day, so...
Yeah, I know. You're going to be
distracted. Checked out for the rest of the show.
You're going to be distracted for the rest of the time. This is Tim May along with Patrick Murphy here on the Fan Sports Holiday. And it's starting to feel like a holiday, agreed?
Yeah, I think so. I usually think of the 3rd. Most people, I feel like, get like half days. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like people are off and off. Like, I see people out and about more on the 3rd. So I don't know if it's companies give them days off or if they just take days off or how it works. But
PTO.
Yeah, especially when it's leading into a weekend like this. It's not just a random day in the week. So, yeah, I think we can call it a holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. I know they're calling it downtown. I mean, I give it up to you folks headed to Red, White, and Boom. I was just checking the traffic, and all of the arteries leading to the heart of Ohio are still green. So that's a pretty good electrocardiogram of the traffic in and around downtown Columbus. But, of course, it's going to pick up. I think most people are playing it smart. You don't want to be sitting there all day cooking just to watch 35, 40 minutes of fireworks. Does it last that long, by the way, still? I think it does.
I don't know.
But the bottom line is I always look forward to the Hilliard fireworks because we get a great seat. We just take ride our bikes down to a nice little area. Now it's soccer fields. And spread the blanket, like you said, and take it all in. But I digress. Bottom line is, by the way, I forgot to promo my good buddy Bruce Martin. He has this award-winning podcast called Pit Pass Indy that you can get on Apple Podcasts and I think a couple of other spots, wherever you get your podcast, your favorite podcast. But he does a hell of a job on it. And for the avid Indy Car fan, it's must listen to. And I forgot to promo that when he was on with us earlier. I think I did the lead-in before we went to the break on what I wanted to talk about on this episode, this segment of our episode, which is what NFL team would you buy stock in right now? As in, stock may not be the right term. Might be just put a coin on number 8 and see how it runs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then also a college football team of that regard. And so I'm gonna ask you. We'll see if Nate Puterball, our capable producer. By the way, he's got a lot of potential, don't you think, Nate Puterball?
Oh yeah. I think he's going somewhere.
Notice I said potential, but the bottom line is, who would that NFL team be right now that you think could come off the radar? Give me one team, come off the radar and make a run, so to speak, in the playoffs.
I think the Giants are interesting.
Interesting. That's interesting that you think that.
Yes, they were not good last year. If you followed the NFL, I was going to pull up their record, but they were not good.
Doesn't matter. It's like what's going on this year. You know what I mean? That's what matters.
But you've got
easier schedule, probably.
Well, at least as easy, I would assume.
Yeah.
But you've got Jackson Dart, so you've got a quarterback there who I think people saw some things from. Got to stay healthy. You've got Malik Neighbors, who has been good, Brian Burns, and then you add in John Harbaugh as the head coach. And say what you will about the Harbaugh family and the connection to Michigan, but he's proven to be a winner. And I think the investment in him, even coming off of sort of a rough ending in Baltimore, is signs of positive movement in New York, I think. So I think there's some pieces there. Is this a team that I would pick to like really make a run? No, probably not. But I think, it's kind of early days in a team that could be pretty good here in a few years.
Yeah. The team I've got my eye on is the Houston Texans with a maybe revitalized C.J. Stroud. I really like the Texans head coach. I like what they've done on defense. They've got to get offense a little more straightened out, especially, I think, offensive line. I think they've made some strides there in the offseason in terms of personnel, et cetera. And, I was listening to a talk show the other night, and one guy was just writing off C.J. Stroud. He was just in essence, a comet that came and went. And I don't agree with that. He's been banged up a little bit the last couple of years, but I can see the potential there with the Houston Texans. How about you, Nate? Do you have a team?
I've got the Saints.
Yeah, that's another one I thought about.
I think Tyler Show proved he could move the ball last year with really a bunch of crappy weapons around him. They Olave is going to be healthy. They added Jordan Tyson. They added Travis Etienne. Alvin Kamara is sticking around. I think their offense could be really good, and the NFC South is pretty bad going into this year.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's another one I thought of. That's a team that probably, unless you're a Saints fan or you decided to check in on Chris Olave, you probably didn't watch very much last year. But I agree. I think they're building something.
Their offense could be good. I question their defense a bit, but again, that's a bad division, so you can kind of be okay with it.
Absolutely.
I think the Colts is another interesting one.
I asked you for one.
I know. I'm just throwing another one out there.
Okay. Well, I like that. But I want to go to the next question.
All right, let's go.
Your college football team that could come off the radar similar, maybe not exactly like Indiana did in 2024. Whereas a college football team you've got your eye on. It doesn't mean that they have to have been as bad forever as Indiana
one could
was.
be as bad as Indiana was.
Correct. They were the worst.
They were the worst.
Yeah.
Number
one.
Yes.
The wrong way.
Yes. The number one or the number
in
one.
reverse order.
131, whatever it is. This is one, because of the brand, it is you might consider it a bit of a cop-out, but I'm really interested in USC this year.
Oh, man. That's literally.
Is that what you were going to say?
That was what I was going to say.
All right. Well,
for the same reasons.
We can both talk about it.
I think they have. Go ahead.
No, go.
I think they have privately, get it their private school.
Yes, I
think they have privately rebuilt a lot of things that people don't think they've got. I think their roster looks pretty impressive now. I think they get it from an NIL standpoint. Because you know what? USC and UCLA is like they got left behind. What?
Right.
You can have NIL, so I'm agreeing with that. I'm not sure I want to dab anywhere else, except I do have my eye on LSU. I think LSU is intriguing to me. They've got, you look at their schedule, it's almost right there with Ohio State's schedule in terms of toughness. But, with Lane Kiffin and the new blood in there. You got Ed Orgeron back as a position coach, defensive tackles really, but defensive line coach. The defense the last couple of years, that's LSU's defense, right?
Right.
But USC and LSU are two teams I've definitely got my eye on. What about you, Nate?
Tito's going to be angry at me for mentioning a group of 6 team. UCF, I think, is going to be very good next year. You added in Alonzo Barnett from James Madison on your offense. They brought in a running back, Landon Chambers, who rushed for 1,300 yards last year. Mm-hmm. Their schedule is very favorable. They don't have to play Texas Tech this year. They've got BYU at home. That could be a very good group of 6 team if you want to put some money down.
That's pretty. Nate Puderball came.
He's ready. He
came
ready.
From the top rope on that one, don't you think?
Yeah. I will add this with USC. I think that Lincoln Riley, before last season, they kind of had to make the choice. Do we keep Lincoln Riley? Do we pay that buyout and go in a new direction? Or do we just try and load him up with talent, really invest, to your point, Tim, about NIL?
Well, they couldn't really afford to get rid of Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, so you had to put the money.
Until maybe kind of about now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think now you've got the pieces. You went 8-4 last year. That was a step in the right direction. I think there were probably a couple games they could have won that they didn't too. So it's probably all or nothing for that. Not saying they need to win a national championship, but I think they need to make a college football playoff. They've not done that yet. So I think that to me, in addition to everything you said, is like, not that the pressure's on, but the pressure's on.
Yeah, I made Paul Feinbaum a little mad when I was on the show a couple of years ago when he was touting the SEC, although the SEC has not won a championship now, not even played for one in 3 seasons. It's all belonged to the Big Ten. I said, well, here's the way I look at the SEC is USC, which was a mediocre team in the Big Ten in 2024, opened the season with a win. I think it was over LSU.
Yes.
And ended the season with a win over an SEC team. I think it might have been Texas A&M. I'm not sure who it was.
I don't remember that one.
And the Las Vegas Bowl. But the bottom line is, that shows you where the SEC is now in my book. You follow me? That was a pretty good argument, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, bowl games aren't referendums. I go, well, if it was flipped, if those results were flipped, that would have been a referendum.
Yes. I think we all know where Paul's allegiances lie.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's all right, though.
Yeah, sure.
He wears it on his sleeve. We're going to be back in a moment. It's going to be a conversation I had with Felix Rosenquist, who just won the Indianapolis 500 this year from Meyer Shank Racing, headquartered in Pataskala. Meyer Shank Racing's second Indy 500 win in 5 years. But he's also announced a week and a half ago that he was going, as you heard Bruce Martin talk about, he's leaving Meyer Shank Racing. We all expect him to end up at McLaren, just like Scott Dixon. But just on what's going on with him in that regard, at Mid-Ohio this week, and boy, what a month of May he had. He and his wife had their first kid in the beginning of May, and then he went to Indy 500. Does it get any better than that? You'll hear what Felix Rosenquist has to say about that and other things when we return here to the Fan Sports Holiday on 97.1 The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Financial literacy starts young. Ohio Credit Union offers Greenlight, the popular money app and debit card for kids at no cost with your personal checking account. Help them earn, save, and learn. Visit telhio.org/greenlight.
Telhio is open to anyone in Central and Southwest Ohio, federally insured by NCUA.
Join T-Bone and Tybus mornings on The Fan for football, food, and fun, featuring T-Bone.
Now, when you were talking about the football stuff, I was listening, but when you said Waffle House, I leaned forward in my chair.
And national champ Tybus Powell.
I was staring myself in the mirror for a good 10 minutes today looking at it.
Where they solve all the world's complex problems.
We're not putting the toothpaste back in the toothpaste container.
Sponsored by Capital Ford of Columbus.
Football, food, and fun with T-Bone and Tybus. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on The Fan.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we've been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Welcome back to Yeah, That's a Pepper Thing. First up, we've got Harrison wrapping his Dr. Pepper in a tiny quilt so it feels at home. Oh, how tender. That's a Pepper Thing. And over to Becca, who's whispering affirmations to her can.
You're sweet. You're unique. You're the best thing I ever poured over ice.
She swears it makes it taste better. It's not a science thing, but it's a Pepper Thing. Why do they all do it? All for that sweet, delicious, truly one-of-a-kind taste of Dr. Pepper. It's a Pepper Thing.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
How do you know your home? At Habitat for Humanity, we believe it's when you find peace, stability, and safety. But 1 in 3 people on Earth woke up today without a good home. Not because of chance, but because of high costs and other very real barriers. A housing crisis this big needs all of us. So let's open the door to opportunity and build a tomorrow where home is possible for everyone. Visit Habitat.org to learn more. Again, that's Habitat.org. Habitat for Humanity. Let's open the door.
Disasters strike, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. Direct Relief delivers. No politics, no red tape. Direct Relief is a lifeline to people in crisis. So check them out at directrelief.org. And if you can, donate.
Bobby Carpenter was voted Best Talk Radio Personality by Columbus Monthly Readers. Catch Bobby daily on Morning Chew, 6 to 8 a.m. on the Fan's YouTube channel, the Fan app, and on demand on the 10 TV streaming app. Oh, and Tito's there too. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz. Today's weather a lot like yesterday, mostly sunny, hot and humid, mid-90s for a high with a heat index near 105. An isolated storm is possible late. Watching for another chance of storms overnight. And then for tomorrow, scattered showers and storms mostly in the afternoon and evening, highs in the lower 90s. For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvis weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, the Fan. This is the Fan. It's also a holiday. Why don't we call it Fan Sports Holiday?
Yeah, let's call it Fan Sports Holiday. Let's make it a yearly affair. What do you think, Patrick Murphy?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Got any more holidays coming up we could jump on here?
I'm sure that we could come up with some.
Christmas,
like if you Google
New Year's,
Google
Thanksgiving.
Google like what day, what are we celebrating today on Google? There's always today's, pumpkin day or today's, there's always something. So if you want to, not that you get off work.
Or
for
good
it,
buddy Dom Taberry used to keep us abreast of those holidays.
He did,
Now I would call him semi-retired now. What would you call him?
He's on his way to semi-retirement. I don't know. You do it. What do you call what you do?
I don't know. I'd call it having something to do. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said to me, you can only play so much golf, especially in Ohio, because all of January, February, and most of March was wiped out.
Yeah.
And that was a bummer because the previous year, me and my buddy Paul Spahn, Moose, I think we played like 10 times over January and February, but such is not the case. And I don't like playing when it's 95 either. So that's the way we go. But I digress. Had a nice little talk with Felix Rosenquist yesterday, the reigning Indianapolis 500 winner, who drives for Meyershank Racing, based in Pataskala, just east of Columbus. Their second Indianapolis 500 win. But, some of the news of the last couple of weeks is he is, in fact, leaving Meyershank Racing at the end of the season. And it's supposed to be a secret, but we get the impression, and the guys who cover Indy Car racing on a full-time basis, like my buddy Bruce Martin, basically understand both Dixon and Felix Rosenquist are going to McLaren, which is, Bruce pointed out, McLaren's IndyCar team. Bruce pointed out, Scott Dixon almost ended up there a couple of years ago. Well, Felix was there a few years ago before he ended up at Meyershank Racing, because I think they wanted to maybe farm him back out to their Formula E team or something like that. But the bottom line is he's made up his mind. He's going on 35 years old. He's made up his mind that he wants to leave, and you'll hear sort of the reason he gives about that. By the way, he's one of the more, I know I keep saying this about these guys, he's one of the more pleasant people you will ever meet. I wouldn't call him humble, because all these guys think they can outrun a freight train, before he gets to the crossing. But the bottom line is he's just real thoughtful. And like I said, what a month of May. He and his wife had their first kid, a young, a baby girl, as the month starts. And then next thing you know, he's on the podium, the winning podium of the Indianapolis 500. So without further ado, let's get to my conversation with IndyCar driver Felix Rosenquist. Rosenquist, Indianapolis 500 winner. That's how you introduce from now on, right? But number one, how fast is life moving for you right now? Can you put it into words?
Faster than it ever has, for sure. It's been a lot of things in a very short time. It's definitely hard to grasp. It's only, I don't even know, like a month ago it happened. It feels like it was a year ago, just the amount of stuff that we've been doing, right before the 500 and also after. So, just trying to, stay, just stay focused, really. It's a lot to take in, and we still have a lot of season to go. So I think that's my main thing, is try to focus on the job and finish off the season strong, but also enjoying the moments. Every now and then you see a replay of the finish, or just taking all the good stuff as well, because it's a very rare thing to happen to you, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But then on top of that, you announcing you're not going to be back at Meyershank next year. You're looking elsewhere. The scuttlebutt is it's going to be McLaren and stuff. Is that all solidified right now, or how would you describe it?
So far, I've just announced that I'm not going to stay. Yeah. So that's basically as far as the news extend. Obviously, as I said,
that's what Scott just told me too.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, I just focus on doing a good job for Meyershank Racing. I think we have a lot to be proud of, and there's no hard feelings at this point. We're all big boys, professionals. So just got to finish off the season strong. Obviously, it was a tough decision to make, but I think everyone will have a bit more info here in the next couple of weeks. So at this point, that's as much as I'm going to say about it. But exciting times ahead. I think, as I said, it's just a lot lot of things happening, so just trying to finish the job and also enjoy it.
Focus like the last couple of laps, right? At Indy.
Exactly.
Here's what I want to ask you though: what has Meyer Shank Racing meant to you from the terms of career, etc.? And of course, the candle on top, the 2026 Indianapolis 500 victory.
Oh, it's meant a lot. I think honestly, what I'm most sad about is probably just the personal relationships I built in the team, which is, it's always going to be a factor when you spend a long time with the team. But I think Meyer Shank Racing has been a little bit extra in that regard, with just a lot of really good people that I love working with, and that I made a personal relationship with outside of the professional part, and it's always tough. But I think that's definitely what I bring with me. I think Jim and Mike have treated me extremely well, and probably better than they have to, really, which is special and unique. So yeah, the least I can do is to finish this partnership strong for them, but yeah, again, like I think obviously when this was all new, it was more emotions, but now it's kind of solidified, and we're big boys, and we're ready to tackle the track here in the last 8 races or so, and just try to win a few more races.
Last question: do you feel almost renewed? I mean, winning the Indy 500, it's almost like a dream, a goal come true, and yet it tells you, hey, I'm pretty damn good. You're understand what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of things have to happen. I understand you have to be at the right team, right time, all that kind of stuff, but what does it just do for a man from the standpoint of a career or whatever? Because you've got one of those moments that no one will ever take from you, and I would think it's, rejuvenating.
Yeah, for sure. Like the confidence it gives is a really good thing. I think it also it's a bit of a relief, because how hard it is to win one of those big races, and to just having done it is kind of like a big exhale. Yeah. You're like, okay, I've done it, and whatever happens now, I've still won it, and it's just a huge statement for your career. So yeah, I feel, if anything, less pressure, which is nice, but also I'm aware of the fact that this is a very specific race, takes a very specific skill, and coming here to like Mid-Ohio is a completely different challenge, but you still got to perform at all the other tracks, and I think it's important to stay grounded and understanding that this is the toughest series in the world, according to me at least, and just to keep going. It's extremely hard, so you can't just rely on this Indy win to have a good future, But I think it's only a good thing. It definitely strengthened me and given me a little bit of a different outlook to my future.
Sure. Hey, can I ask one last quick bonus question? Leaving, is it money? Is it just time to make a move? I mean, how would you describe it to somebody? What finally kind of drove you to a decision like that?
Well, again, I think there will be more sort of everything might make a bit more sense when I have a chance to speak about it. The only thing I can really comment on is that it was purely a sporting decision. I know there's been articles about this being a big, money reason, or I'm a family father or whatever. And this is actually more than anything, a decision that was made purely from a sporting standpoint, and basically a decision that has led me so many times to have a long career. I just have to position myself where I think it's going to be best in the future, and the future was pretty much the big thing in this thing. So that's pretty much all I can say.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. By the way, I don't know if I like to thank THANK, or Whipsaw, my buddy Bruce Martin. You could hear him interviewing Mike Shank quite clearly behind us. So it was kind of a little tense situation there. And
that sound reminded me of when we'd go to bowl games, and they'd set up, like especially in Arizona, where they'd set up all the tables right next to each other.
Yes.
So you pick up everyone else's interviews.
Kind of like at the Big Ten meetings,
Yeah, same idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about it, you don't realize how much is getting picked up by you. And my buddy Bruce Martin, you can imagine our conversation. We both talk loud, and you could hear him, but also the irony that he was interviewing Mike Shank while I was interviewing Felix Rosenquist. And that's why you could hear Mike leave, and he goes, Tim, I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? Because, it was a little uncomfortable there because, I think they've gotten it over it now, like Felix said, but I think Mike Shank's very bummed out that this has happened because, they kind of took Felix on and not resurrected his career by any stretch. He's always been a good driver, but what they both meant to each other, and then all of a sudden, he's not going to be there anymore. And them keeping Marcus Armstrong under contract is a big deal. That kid, he is rising fast. So we'll see how that goes. But Mike Shank's one of my favorite people of all time. I think most people who know me know that. And it's just good to see his team, which started about as small as you can get, but always hell-bent to get to the top. I mean, it's paid off for him. And by the way, if you ever get a chance, go back and watch one more time the Felix Rosenqvist in-car camera view of him starting third with a lap to go at the Indianapolis 500 and passing David Malukas, or he and David Malukas passed his teammate Marcus Armstrong going into turn one. Actually, Felix ran side by side with him for 3 corners until finally going by him. Speaking of hell-bent, he was hell-bent to win the Indianapolis 500, and he got it done. It's one of the most thrilling things you'll ever see. The closest finish in history at the Indianapolis 500, 0.0233 of a second, the difference.
Wow.
When we come back, speaking of differences, difference makers, you win with people. Woody Hayes said that, even wrote a book about it. We're going to have Andrew Gillis on, covers recruiting big time, along with other things for Cleveland.com. We're going to talk about basically Ohio State's recruiting efforts under Ryan Day and Mark Pantoni, the 2026 version, here on Fan Sports Holiday on 97.1 The Fan.
Saving money this 4th of July at Menards. Build a stronger deck with AC2 pressure-treated thick decking. It's 15% thicker than 5/4 thin decking. Available in green pressure-treated or pre-finished cedar tone premium with a beautiful brown color pressurized right into the wood. Plus, get free estimates using our deck design program in-store or on Menards.com. Also, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Newman Roofing is proud to sponsor The Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat fan drive. Help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. Purchase new box fans and take them to the nearest Franklin County fire station or buy online. For more information, visit 10tv.com/beattheheat or lifecarealliance.org.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on a select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
There's only one Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic. Because this ad is 30 seconds, I can't get into everything I'm FDA approved to do, so I'm just going to play my jingle again. But first, ask your doctor about which FDA approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA approved Ozempic. Now here's that jingle again.
There's only one Ozempic.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear,
"This is a type of blood cancer."
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No? The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. It's a holiday. Most people took the day off. These guys didn't get the email. Welcome to Fan Sports Holiday.
I think that's inaccurate. I think we got the email. We just didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, I don't check my emails enough, I guess.
Yeah, I'm Tim May. That's Patrick Murphy here on the Fan Sports Holiday on 97.1 The Fan. And notice I've said that a bunch because so I can get it right.
Yes.
You notice that, Patrick?
You've gotten it right all but once.
Exactly. Speaking of getting it right, Andrew Gillis joining us now from Cleveland.com. They do a hell of a job covering Ohio State football and basketball and other sports, but definitely Andrew has his has his your index finger and your middle finger on the pulse. That's what you take a pulse with, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he has that on Ohio State's football recruiting right now, which seems to have an extremely strong heartbeat going. Andrew, welcome to the show, number one. Number two, would you describe it as a strong pulse when it comes to Ohio State football recruiting?
I hope so. I think other people hope so. I couldn't tell you if I'm sure there's somebody out there who maybe thinks I don't have as strong of a pulse as I think, but I don't know. I like to think I have a general idea what's going on.
Speaking of general ideas was what's going on, before we get too deep into recruiting, how's your betting on World Cup games going? You making a little extra cash?
Yeah, well, so I made some money, I think, on the U.S. The Bosnia game the other night. I've been texting one of the other OSU beat writers by the name of Patrick Murphy for some help, and he hasn't really been much help this tournament. So
I have not.
Yeah, he has not really kind of led me in the right direction. So I'm winning in spite of him.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
So let him know.
I will. I'll make sure that message gets passed along.
He's sitting right next to me. I'll let him know.
Yeah. Going back to recruiting, obviously the Buckeyes have been on a little bit of a tear. What do you think was the most important get of these recent, 3 or 4 commits they've landed in the last week or so?
Oh, that's a good question. I think you almost have to go to the line of scrimmage because you can say that Jet Harrison is great, and he is, and that was so big to get a 2028 5-star receiver in the building, and that's fine. And Austin Miller at 2029, expected to be 5-star. Okay, that's great too. But Ohio State has really not done a lot of the trench work that I think people have wanted for some time. So I'm going to say Caden Moss, the offensive lineman. They get him top 50 kid out of Mississippi, can play guard or tackle. That's something offensive line coach Tyler Bowen really, really values, just kind of that versatility of playing inside and outside. But you go down to Mississippi, they have not done that in decades. You land a kid from the Deep South who, Ole Miss was involved, Kentucky was involved. You pull him north, and now you have 6 offensive linemen in this class. And, when I showed up on the beat, it was kind of a mess with offensive line recruiting, right? It's easy to remember a few years ago, they're only landing, 3-4 guys in a cycle. And I think you are now seeing a much healthier future here to where they had 5 last cycle in 26. They have 6 committed right now in 27. I think that's probably where you want to be at. I think over a 3-year span, you probably want to average about 16 to 17 offensive linemen coming into the building, and they've done that in this cycle. So, yeah, big get with Caden Moss.
Yeah, I was going to say, Andrew, the thing that you kind of picked up on a vibe a couple, 3 years ago that maybe they wanted to start moving a little bit more to the portal to find those offensive linemen who've already played somewhere. You have college tape on them instead of high school, and have they transcended? And but now the thing about it is when you build up the numbers in that room, these guys, none of these guys have to play immediately, right? And that's what stands out about the 2026 class, which a lot of those guys got valuable time in the spring with the team. But with 2027, you can maybe bring them along. I know it's 5 for 5 now, so you can play them when you want to anymore. But I think that's important. It's almost a little bit of a sea change when I thought we were already seeing a sea change. But, the Ethan Anianwa experiment, kind of blew up in their face a little bit. Agreed. I think you agree with that. And, wow, if you can just get them in your building and work on them for a year and a half, you might have something.
Yeah, and you're right. I think specifically when it comes to the offensive line, everybody can point to Josh Simmons and say what a great success story that was. You go take San Diego State's right tackle. He becomes your left tackle.
Yeah.
First-round pick, looks really good. Obviously, he had the injury at the end of his career. But, that's a success story. But I don't think Ohio State wants to major in going to find a group of 6 offensive linemen and saying you're now a starting tackle at Ohio State because, you saw the great upside of it with Simmons, and I think you saw the downside of it like you were kind of talking about with Anianwa, who just, couldn't crack the lineup here. So, I think when you look at maybe where this team is headed, in terms of, portal recruiting and how it's going to marry with high school, I think what you want to do now is give yourself that safety net, and I think we're going to see that play out probably at receiver, I think would be the best example this year because Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith, obviously. We know what he is, and Brandon Ennis is obviously the kind of captain and veteran in the room. But then they went out and got Devin McEwen and Kyle Parker, and I think that's the floor. But Chris Henry Jr. is the ceiling. And if Chris Henry Jr. is ready to go by, September or maybe even for that Indiana game in mid-October, maybe the Oregon game in early November, I think that is going to be the ceiling of the room. And I think that is, what's really going to help here. If you can go get a great portal player, that's fine. That's awesome. But I think you want to major in this world in which your high school recruits are kind of developing, and when they're ready to go, they're going to step into the lineup.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is Brock Boyd, I think was a universal 3-star, and I'm not sure how the final rankings fell for him, but when you find a guy like that, too, it shows you're doing your homework. You're not just going after the 5-star expensive guys, right? I mean, that shows some depth there.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think that's going to be more important in the recruiting world and the NIL world today because, all right, Ohio State has the money to go pay a Munchin Sales, a 5-star receiver in 2027 to pair with 5-star receiver Jameer Brown. And, then they can probably go get another top 100 guy, right? They have the cash to do that. It's just probably not the wisest investment in resources. If you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, you're not sitting there saying, man, they should really draft a first-round receiver. No, you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, right? You want to spread your wealth around a little bit. And I think that's what Ohio State is probably trying to do here is, you look at the receiver recruiting, for example, 27, you got Jameer Brown. 26, you had Chris Henry Jr., obviously. 28, Jet Harrison. 29, Austin Miller. You go get your superstar. You go get your 5-star, and then you can start working on the evaluations and, maybe some diamond in the rough type of kids, and then you focus on the development because, I don't think Ohio State or any other program for that matter is going to be living in a world in which you are just overloading at one position coming out of high school.
Speaking of kind of managing those resources, it seems – and I want your opinion on this, that if you're not going to allocate resources to getting 3-ish 5-star wide receivers every year, that could help out recruiting in other areas, such as maybe the offensive and defensive line that you mentioned. Do you think there's been a shift in that approach, or are we just seeing Ohio State change its focus and get those guys right now?
Well, I think there's two kind of things here. I think there's a short-term and a long-term vision. I think the short-term vision is, they're going after the trenches because that's what the roster needs. Mm-hmm. You think about how many defensive linemen are, draft eligible or, could leave the program after this year. I think it's 8 guys, 8 of the 16 could enter the NFL draft. And then, you have Jason Moore is one of those guys where it's he's been a depth player at Ohio State. Is he ready to take that leap? You don't know what he's going to be in 2027. So, all right, maybe he's there for your 5th year, but I don't know if you want to count on that. You look at the offensive line. We've talked about how veteran they are all spring and all summer now at this point of, how many snaps they've got under their belt and how many this and how many that. Well, a lot of those guys are going to leave too, and I think you needed another wave. So I think the short-term vision is just, hey, simply, you needed bodies. You needed breathing people in that. You needed warm, breathing people in that offensive and defensive line room. But I think the long-term vision here is, you probably want to identify certain positions consistently. I think the offensive line and defensive line are one of them. But I think, you go to a position like corner. I don't think Ohio State's going to be a big spender at corner in this cycle. They've got 4-star Deontay Malone. They've got 3-star Jaden Carey. And I think that's probably where they may stay. Maybe you go get somebody in the football season in the fall, but maybe in the 28 cycle, then they go spend some money on a 5-star corner because Devin Sanchez will be entering his 3rd year. Is that, or in 27, is he ready to go after that? It's just, I think there's a roster construction that every team kind of has, which is specific to them. But I think from a bigger picture standpoint, you want to build along the trenches because it's pretty accessible to find an elite quarterback in the transfer portal. It's just going to cost you a lot of money, but it's really hard to go find a blue chip receiver and a blue chip left tackle and defensive end and number 1 corner. So I think Ohio State's trying to take care of those positions on the high school recruiting trail so they don't have to do it in the portal.
Amen. By the way, we just got a couple seconds left. I wanted to ask you this question because there's all kinds of figures are being bandied about nationally about who's spending the most, who's got the most money to spend, so to speak. from NIL, et cetera, and obviously revenue sharing. But what's your take on Ohio State? What do you think the number is that's realistic out there that this roster is going to be worth this coming season?
Yeah, I think it was Yahoo Sports, Ross Dellinger. He had kind of like a national look at this thing, and I think he had Ohio State in the 40s, and that's kind of what I understand. I know from a couple of different programs that are kind of on Ohio State's level that I've heard 47, 40, 38. I think Ohio State is probably at the upper tier of that. I think it's fun in recruiting now where nobody knows what the salary cap for each individual school is, so Ohio State's going to be at the top of that, and I think for this year it's in that 40-ish million range. They're not scraping the bottom of the barrel here. They are Ohio State. They do have a lot of money. It's just kind of how they want to spend it. I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, as I keep saying, there are 3 pro football teams in Ohio now, and Ohio State is definitely one of them. Hey, Andrew, Cleveland.com, man, you're the guy that keeps Stephen Means and Stefan Krajcnik in check, man. Appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to keep keeping them in check.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a moment with the final episode here on Fan Sports Holiday on 97.1 The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, getting older. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym, be sharper at work, be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
It's 2026, the year you achieve your health goals. The Good Feet store wants to help. Trade in your bad feet for good feet. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm the Innovation Ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. So I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Cool cars, cool people, good tires. Get ready for the biggest and best automotive happening of the year. The Good Guys 28th Summit Racing Nationals presented by Grundy Insurance. Over 6,000 classes. Shop the swap meet in Huge Fender Midway. See which ride takes home the crown of the Good Guys 2026 Forge Line Street Machine and Classic Instrument Street Rod of the Year. July 10th to the 12th at the newly renovated Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Columbus. Details at good-guys.com.
Celebrate Star Spangled Savings with Logan Services. Right now, save up to $3,000 on a qualifying train system. It's hard to stop a train. Free same-day estimates, next-day installation. Logan Services.
Remember the old days when football used to have an off-season? Well, we at the Fan think that really sucked. That's why we bring you Austin and Berm, America's #1 resource for Buckeye football conversation, as voted by Fake Surveys Incorporated. Catch their daily podcast called The Beat and their breaking news podcast, Snap Judgments, as they broadcast live from Roosters on Mondays, and they come right to your house and massage your tender areas. They'll do it all. Austin and Berm on the Fan's YouTube channel and 10 TV+.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
Common Man and Timmy.
How could we be held responsible for
We're not.
what the children not?
I believe the children are Much like smoking cigarettes, there's a warning label on this show.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company. The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
It's a holiday. While you're sleeping in, grilling out, and enjoying the day off, we're talking sports. This is Fan Sports Holiday.
Thanks for joining us. It's our final segment. I'm Tim May, along with Patrick Murphy. And by the way, that Andrew Gillis conversation was brought to you on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Fan Sports Hotline. But come to the final segment. It seems like this show has moved along briskly. How would you describe it, Patrick? It's actually lasted longer than a soccer game in the World Cup that doesn't go to OT.
Even ones that do. This would still probably be longer unless you get like a really long penalty kick shootout. No, it's gone quick. I think I was just saying, I do the Buckeye show a lot, which is only 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so anytime I'm doing one of these longer ones, I'm like, oh, man, that extra hour. But then you get in here and you start talking, like we're just talking sports. So, I'm either doing it this way or I'm going to go sit at a bar somewhere watching soccer, which we've got
Did you see that?
And I'm going to be talking sports anyway. So might as well be doing it with you.
Amen, brother. Amen. Pass the plate. That's what you say in the Southern Baptist Church. I don't know what church you went to. I won't get into all that. I almost opened a Pandora's box there I didn't want to tread into. And by the way, if you're gathering downtown, good luck to you on the wait now, the big wait until they light this candle. It should be a fun, big-time event tonight, Red, White, and Boom. With that said, I told you before, I wanted to end this with talking about maybe it's not a downer, but the most harrowing experience you had with your own fireworks as a kid growing up, maybe even yesterday. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you throw bottle rockets at people even today, but the most harrowing experience, I want to get Nate Puterbaugh in on this also because, wow, sometimes you're lucky to still be here.
Yeah, I have never had like one of those type of instances where like you step back and it's like, wow, that could have been really bad.
Did you have big brothers growing up?
I was the big brother.
Okay.
And I had a younger sister, and then my dad got remarried, so I added a younger brother and an older sister. We did, so my dad's side of the family has a house up on Lake Michigan, up on like the coast of Michigan. You can see as I use my hand to show you. And we would sometimes, if we split it between, he was one of 9, so you split it between a bunch of families. So you get like once every other year, we'll get up there, and we have been up there around the 4th of July. And so we have set off fireworks with other people on the beach. And I do remember like a big safety lecture because it's like a whole bunch of houses. So we've got like dads out there telling like, sits all the guys down or the girl, all the kids, and just like, hey, you got to be really careful here. Like, everyone has to listen. I remember, like, hey, pay attention. Like, this is serious stuff.
Yeah.
If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. But, yeah, we didn't have anything bad ever happen, I don't think, from that. I think everyone kind of understood. But they were very strict about, like, all right, the kids stay this far back. And, as you got older, you were able to help a little bit more. But it was mostly the adults doing the lighting.
Well, that was a story. That story you just told was just a story about, nothing ever happened to me in that regard. My life never felt in jeopardy. How about you, Nate Pooterball?
So growing up, I lived in Toledo, and our house was close enough to Michigan. It was like literally just an afternoon jog away. So we could
wait a minute, you guys set up a picket line with artillery there. Go ahead.
Right,
now.
yeah. So we could get the good stuff. And I don't know, I'm like, my second or third grade or something at the time, and we're having 4th of July with fireworks. And we've got the big one, and the Michigan illegal rocket big ones.
Yes.
And we light it off, and we got a bunch of family around for the 4th of July. We're videotaping everything. We light it off, and nothing happens. Like, we see nothing. It goes up in the air, nothing. And like, we're all on camera. It's like, well, I guess it was a dud, and all of a sudden. And then about 5 seconds later, the neighbor across the street, their house is lighting up with colors.
Oh, my goodness.
Going over the place. And my dad is running across the street with a bucket.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
That's a good one. That's a much better than getting the safety lecture and then nothing happening.
Yeah.
Much better. I was 9 years old. My big brother was 10. Ben, my big brother, I had 3 brothers, 1 older, 2 younger. Ben would dive for passes in the street when we'd play football in the street when it was muddy. He was that kind of guy. So he's sitting there one night, and my dad used to buy us. I mean, my dad was a safety conscious dude, but he used to buy us cherry bombs, TNT bombs, and of course Black Cat firecrackers, boxes of them. And we'd have great times in bottle rockets and Roman candles. But my big brother Ben, one time, you never knew about the fuse on those cherry bombs sometimes. And my big brother Ben was holding the cherry bomb in his left hand, and he struck a match with his right hand and lit the fuse, and the fuse went bam.
Oh.
And my big brother, he saw the fuse go, and he just barely let go just before the thing went off. And I thought we were going to be calling him Ben Three Finger May after that. But you looked at it, and he was okay. He wiped his eyes. Something, I think, went in his eyes a little bit, because they were made out of clay and gunpowder, so to speak. But that's the closest I came to ever seeing anybody maimed by a cherry bomb. And those were big-time things. We used those in all kinds of ways, which I won't get into because some was illegal. I remember when I used to buy firecrackers for my kids, fireworks for my kids long ago. You would buy them. You could buy them in Ohio, but you couldn't use them in Ohio. And so I always put on the little sheet there that where you're going to use them. I'd always put down Eufaula, Alabama. I don't know if they put out a bulletin for Eufaula, but you don't remember those days.
No,
but,
I don't.
Yeah, you had to say you weren't going to fire them in Ohio. So we didn't fire them in Ohio cities, but we've had 4.5 acres for 40 years now, so we had plenty of room to fire them off. Real quick, what are you going to watch real quick? We got 10 seconds left. What are you going to watch this weekend?
The World Cup.
The World's Cup, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to watch some of that, too. I'm also going to watch the Indy Car race from Mid-Ohio. But until next time we get together, we'll see you then. This has been the Fan Sports Holiday on 97.1 The Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan